Okay. I think I clicked the button correctly. Yeah, no, it's coming up. Okay, great. It just took a minute. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of Wick TV. It's a cross ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and cultural, from the silly to the serious. And we've got a show for you. We got one more person coming. Enemy Charlie will be here soon. She says she's running a couple minutes late, and that's fine. When she gets here, we'll pull her in. But today, we're going to be talking about a few polls that have been released of late showing that Democratic approval ratings are in the toilet. 27%, the lowest they've been in my lifetime, has been released recently, right? In addition, we've seen party affiliation polls where, again, for the first time in a long, long time, the party affiliation and party identification with Republicans has exceeded that of Democrats. So the question for today and tomorrow, because we're going to talk about a similar topic tomorrow with another set of guests, is why is this happening? What about the Democratic Party is turning people off? How can Democrats change this? In what way are Republicans more appealing to the average voter and the American voter than Democrats are? All this and more. We're going to get into it. It should be fun. It should be a great discussion. Let's start with introductions. We're going to give it first to my man, J Mac. Open us up. Let's see what you got to say. Go ahead.
Hey, Wick, thanks for having me today, and it should be a fun conversation. As far as the Democratic approval is concerned, I kind of find myself in an interesting position, seeing that I have voted Democrat in the past. I've voted Republican. I'm registered independent. So I do my best to try to stay non-biased. Obviously, everyone has their biases, but I do think that does allot me a specific kind of perspective on everything. So I'm excited to talk to everybody here and get to know you guys. And, hopefully we'll pass around the buck and see what blood is drawn.
Okay, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. New York Shade, second time on my show. We didn't scare him off the first time. We'll see if we can do it this time. Go ahead, New York. Give us what you got.
Yeah, good to see you, Wick. Nice to meet everybody here who I haven't met yet. Gonna try and keep this under a minute, but ultimately, the Democrat Party is failing the United States. The United States needs two competitive parties to pursue optimization. We know this is a core tenet of capitalism. Competition breeds excellence. The Democratic Party is in a self-inflicted doom spiral, allowing Republicans to pursue their initiatives unchecked. While I support the majority of those Republican initiatives today, this omnipotent rule is not sustainable in the long run. The Democrat Party approval rating is at historical lows, and the recent election saw outflows across nearly every demographic, with the exception of affluent liberal women. This is because the Democrats, seated under Obama and heavily expanded under Biden, embraced the idea of suicidal empathy, a core tenet for sheltered white women who, by the way, have been the largest beneficiaries of DEI by miles. Democrats prioritize empathy for certain groups, particularly minorities, immigrants, marginalized communities, to such an extent that it alienates the general voter base, leading to self-destructive political decisions. And as a result, they let millions of illegals pour over our borders and let violent criminals walk freely, both factors that are visible to the everyday electorate after noticing the hit on their wallets. Democrats cheer on violent protests, and yes, January 6th was also bad, applaud the arson of private American property and companies, inflate the cost of living under environmental speculation, celebrate the ideological sterilization of minors and the mentally ill, and threaten to defund the police. And instead of right-sizing now with a level-headed leader who says, this party has failed you, but here's a path forward, they platform pandering ideological clowns like Jasmine Crockett, who recently says she's so sick of white male tears on national television. When populist figures like Bernie Sanders get momentum, the Democrat elites castrate him. There is a permanent risk of failure for the Democratic Party, and it is the best interest of the United States to rectify this.
Okay. Great. Thank you for being here. Sorry to cut you off, but again,
No, sorry, I had something much longer written.
I get you. I understand. And thank you for being here. And we'll get into it as we go. I'm just trying to get to the meat of the show, right? The discussion. Soy Pill, what you got?
Hey, it's me, the Soy Pill. Yeah, so Democrats have an amazing opportunity right now, which is to do literally anything. The Republican Party is fumbling, as we see in very many places. They're alienating their own voter base with policies that hurt them, whether that's layoffs in the government or fucking over farmers or tariffs or any of this stuff. It's getting pretty bad, and they're losing support where they shouldn't be. And despite this, Chuck Schumer and other people who are voting for their resolution are somehow just saying, well, we'll wait until they get turned on. And it's clearly not happening. They have this weird pie in the sky idea that at some point, all of these Republicans that have already been threatened with primaries from Elon Musk are going to see the error of their ways, even though it's been 8 years and they never do that. So the Democratic Party needs a resounding message. The leadership doesn't have it. I agree with Shade that AOC, Bernie actually have some sort of push and people actually show up to the rallies, and maybe we can get those guys to be the heads in some way, shape, or form. But right now, they just have no plan, and it's terrible, and no matter how bad the Republicans are. So I am advocating for a better Democratic Party to counter the baby politics coming from the right now.
Okay, well, we'll get into exactly what that means in the discussion. Thank you for being here. Next up, until Charlie arrives, which hopefully is soon, right? Shann and Doa. What do you got for
Hi.
us? First time on the show. Don't
Yes,
fuck it
very
up,
first
okay?
time.
We're
Don't
all
fuck it up.
judging you. Go ahead.
I'll do my absolute best. Thank you. I have a very simple statement to make. I think that the general media environment produces a situation where the Democrats naturally can't win 50% of the voter base. That's just how things are in a social media world where algorithms train people to hate people unlike you no matter what you believe or what they believe. And yet they still manage to fuck up and alienate at least, if not more, 50% of their own base. And the reason why is because the Democrat leaderships are cowards who are unwilling to fight this MAGA Republican threat to our country. And a lot of the Democrats who vote for them are ultimately dissatisfied with this weak and pathetic leadership. And I think it's pretty much that simple.
Okay, it's that simple. Well, we'll see if solving it is equally simple. So again, I'll just jump in here and chime in here. The problem I see it is that the Democrats are in the middle of a civil war. Okay, we have different parties and factions within the Democratic Party who are wrestling with who's going to get control. You have the AOCs, then you have the even more extreme portion of the left wing, who is the dark woke, if you want to label them something, who is advocating to firebomb Teslas, the do something crowd, right? And then you have the Chuck Schumers, the parliamentarians, and things like that. And then you have a whole host of people in between. Until the Democrats decide what they want to be, we're going to continue to lose.
Wick, is anyone in the Democratic Party in power advocating for firebombing things?
Do you think that only the people who are in power matter when it comes to their advocacy?
No. I'm just curious if that's what you meant.
So what I mean by that is there's a portion of the left, right?
Oh, sure. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to push. I was just curious if you were referencing something that I didn't know about.
Leaders, right? But our last guest is here. Charlie.
Oh, I am so sorry for being late. My appointment ran a bit longer than I thought it would. Give me just 1 second.
Take your time. We're talking right now about why the Democratic Party is floundering and what, if anything, can be done to stop the bleeding. There is a ray of hope. Okay, I'll give you the glimmer of hope. Last night, in a Pennsylvania district, my home state, right? A Trump plus 15 district, a district that voted for Trump with plus 15 points in the last election, flipped in a special election from red to blue. They ousted their Republican senator and appointed a Democratic senator. So there's that. But all the other metrics seem to be bad for Democrats right now. You got poll numbers that are just abysmal and all these things. So let's talk about it. Why do you think, Charlie? Give us your opening thoughts here. Everyone's had a turn. Let's give you a turn.
I mean, opening thoughts. I think that the Dems have really failed to appeal to the working class and working class concerns. And I think that largely they have not promised change of any kind, but promised more of the same. And I think that, my goodness, didn't Harris think she hired someone that worked with Hillary Clinton on her campaign. I just think that people are kind of sick of like corporate Dem stuff. And they want to know that their concerns are being heard and addressed. And yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. Well, and that's with that, we were going to open up discussion, and let's see where we go. What do we think? Well, I keep hearing like the Democrats don't appeal to working concerns. Can anyone give me an example of what Democrats should run on? If you were in charge of the Democratic Party today, what would you do? What policy? What messaging would you use? Go ahead, anyone.
Can I give a few anecdotes?
Please.
As somebody, and obviously anecdotes aren't perfect data, but they are data nonetheless. And as somebody who kind of occupies a lot of spaces, I have kids, so I see a lot of the parents. We go to a lot of different events. Something that was kind of interesting was my wife and I was just on vacation over spring break, and we met tons of different couples from all over the country. Pennsylvania, you had someone from New York, all over the place. Some countries outside of the United States as well, Canada, a couple from France. Regardless, the thing that was really interesting to me and my wife was that politics hardly ever came up. And if it did, it was so nebulous and vague because your average person is not like anybody on this panel. They're not on Twitter. They're not going on debates. They are not really plugged in. They get their news from whatever news source that they prefer in their little silo, and that's all that they ever digest. So when the Democrats, Republicans do this too, by the way, but politically, when the Democrats zero in on these niche issues that don't really apply to the average household or family in the United States, you alienate a lot of the populace that just they won't resonate with that at all.
Be specific.
Okay, so a niche issue that I think is when gender ideology started becoming more mainstream in the Democratic Party. When that became less of a microcosm of the constituents, and you had all these huge focuses on pride, kink. You had celebrations at the higher level of Democratic leadership, and I think to the average person, even those that are typically okay with LGBT stuff, there was a sense of kind of encroachment in the individual person's lives and families, especially when it comes to their kids.
Yeah, but that's totally a function of Republican news blowing it up and nothing to do with the Democratic Party messaging. Like, if you're talking about what can the Democrats do, they didn't even campaign on trans issues whatsoever. And yet every single Trump ad was, oh, she's for they, them. Oh, look, they're putting trans people in the military. Like, I don't even think Democrats mentioned it once they replaced Biden.
I'm not talking about 2024.
Oh,
this has been going on for a while. I can remember far back as like 2012.
Okay, but Democrats won in 2020, so why are you going back that far?
Because this systematically, when this stuff starts, there's a certain point, there's a certain line that if you push past, your average person it goes from, oh, I don't really care, or, oh yeah, that should be nice, gays should be allowed to marry, or yeah, if you're trans, maybe you should be able to have the medical blah, 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 to, okay, well now they're advertising this to children, or they're pushing it on children. The gender reaffirming or affirming care is a huge focus. And I don't buy that Democrats at no level are promoting or supporting this.
I didn't say at no level, but when you say a huge focus, what you're talking about is the only reason you're hearing about this is right-wing media who blow it up because they're fear-mongering about it.
That's not true.
It is absolutely true. I promise.
No, you're assuming. No. I started the whole preface of our conversation is I'm independent.
Sure. But who are you hearing this from? From anecdotes, right? Like who's bringing this up to you? Is it people that watch Fox News? Is it people that like are watching Alex Jones?
Yeah, of course. People who are typically more concerned with it. But
no one who's watching CNN is or listening to David Pakman even. The only reason they would even know about gender affirming care is because David Pakman covers the crazy people blowing it up in the media in the first place. So like it's a non-issue.
Do you have kids? Question. Do you have children?
I don't, but would it matter?
Okay. It does matter because this is something that comes up in school board meetings, like currently, like in our own district.
I understand there's a lot of people talking about it. I'm not saying you're right. By the way, if this is this sounds like I'm coming adversarial. Sorry, if this is all of my rage against the right-wing party.
No problem.
The fact that people are talking about it to the extent they are is because people are blowing it up and fear-mongering about it. This is an incredibly small issue. This affects very few people. But the reason you hear about it so much, the reason you hear about it at school board meetings, the reason you hear about it in the media is because, like you said, there is a line somewhere in gender ideology that your average person might be like, hey, I'm not sure about that. Hey, should a trans woman be in women's sports? Maybe your random not keyed in person might not have the exact same position as a progressive. And because you can blow that up and because you can make that a wedge issue, that's why anyone's talking about it, period. So that's kind of
I do want to get some more people in here. I know
Sure, of
Charlie's
course.
been wanting to get in. I know Shenandoah, and I know New York State wants to get in. So we're gonna go in that order. New York. I'm sorry. Charlie, New York, Shenandoah. That's the order we're gonna go in. Charlie, go ahead.
I'm very much inclined to agree with the soy pill here. If you talk to the like average liberal or centrist that isn't really looking at right-wing media, they don't hear or know anything about trans issues beyond like, yeah, they should have rights, and that's like about as much as you hear. The only time I hear anything in depth about, oh my God, they're transing the kids, they're doing transgender surgeries on illegal aliens in prison. That's all right wing, because trans issues are extremely niche. This is a very, very, very small, subsection of the population. Um, it is right wing fear mongering. You do not hear the average American talking about these sorts of things unless they are extremely locked in. And I know this because I'm, LGBT myself. And so when these things come up with people, the average straight person does not have a lot to say. It's only the very online that do have a lot to say, and they're right wing.
Okay. New York Shade, you wanted to get in?
Yeah, I mean, my question would be, why would the right wing media not hone in on this issue, if even if it's particularly niche, just because it is extremely extreme and polarizing for the base? Like, this is political strategy 101. If you want to make the ground crumble under the opposite party, you zero in on something that is highly disputable and unpopular. And we know that, for example, trans men in women's sports is a hugely unpopular issue, including in the Democrat Party. So they hone in on it, and let's not pretend that the left wing media wouldn't do the same exact thing for any glaring hypocrisies that are within the Republican Party. This is just a clear double standard, and looking to blame the media instead of actually looking at their own policy and the politicians that they're putting in forth in front of the public. We know Kamala Harris has supported extreme transgender ideology throughout her Senate career, and just because she erased that from her presidential run doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Shade, we're not contesting that there's no obvious reason for them to focus on this. You're 100% right. Like, of course they'll focus on this because it plays so well with your average Republican. Because you look at like the why did you vote for Trump polls, and a bunch of them say gender ideology, even though it has little to nothing to do with them. It doesn't affect their lives whatsoever. Yeah, but we're criticizing the party for blowing this ridiculous thing. And if there's something the Democrats are blowing up that's, people like to point at Donald Trump way back in 2016 and say, look, he made fun of this disabled reporter. And you can watch like compilations of him making fun of pretty much anyone, and he kind of does the same movements, he does the same voice, and it's actually, in my opinion, kind of questionable whether or not he was like literally mocking this guy's disability. That's the same kind of thing where I don't think Democrats have been doing that nearly as much anymore, because they realize, wow, like there's a lot of big issues that need to happen. So
are you trying to walk me into a Jasmine Crockett comment about her calling Governor Abbott?
Oh, no. That was just an example that came up because of that Jasmine Crockett thing. But what I'm saying is, yeah, a Democratic Party thing could be, hey, let's blow up this ridiculous, potentially non-issue, or even if it is an issue, clearly not that important compared to a lot of these other things that are happening. But when I say trans ideology is being blown up for no good reason other than to win political points, that is a criticism of the Republican Party. They don't actually care about the effects. They care about playing it up for
what I'm hearing, just real quick, what I'm hearing, because again, I just want to remind everyone we're here to talk about like, okay, what's happening to Democratic Party. But it seems to be, at least from J Mac's comments, New York Shade's comments, and then the responses here, and from Shenandoah's opening statements. I'm going to give you the mic in a second here, Shenandoah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's the right wing media has dominated the airwaves in such a way that Democrats are just failing. But I wonder if that's true. Like, sure, certainly that plays a factor, absolutely. But I'm just curious if any of you really, for Kamala, what was Kamala running on? Like, what was her strongest policy position that she ran on?
Her strongest policy position was, I'm going to do nothing different.
Charlie's shaking her head.
Was not really having one.
It was buses. It was school buses, wasn't it? Like, they're yellow and they're great.
I think her absolute strongest policy position was her housing position, because she was talking about like abundance in housing and deregulating housing. I think that was probably her one of the really big things she was trying to run on.
That or the child tax credit, definitely.
Yeah, that was another good one.
But those
not
were
a lot of people
those were
got messaged about that.
Yeah, because she never said. Well, I mean, she did say, but she never pushed it the same way a Republican's going to be like, "Hey, she's trans, she's trans." Like if they hammered it in, you notice the highest time she polled was directly after replacing Joe Biden, who couldn't finish a sentence, and when they called Republicans weird. And suddenly they realized, like, wait, if we play this dirty game of politics and call out the right, like they've been doing in the media for the past 8 years, maybe we can actually get some like vigor in this party. And then they stopped because they had to hone in Tim Walz. So I think Wick, it is the media market that the Democrats still don't know how to play. They're still doing the high ground bullshit.
No, come on.
I disagree with that entirely, but
I think if Tim Walz had called Donald Trump a retard, I think he would have won.
Let's give it.
I'll
let's
do
give it to Shann and Go ahead.
I'll go on national TV right now. What I was gonna say is, yeah, well, why not? I mean, I'll lose some money to the FCC, but whatever. So I wanted to go back to the original claim that the main reason that Democrats lost is that they're over-focusing on these hyper-niche issues. And I understand where you're coming from because, again, I think a lot of polls showed that the principal concerns of voters in this election were economic. But I don't really remember that much in Kamala's campaign where she really even touched on many cultural issues. They had to go back to the 2020 primaries in order to pull that stuff from her saying, we're going to give people in prison trans healthcare. They had pretty much almost nothing on her during the actual election. And instead, they focused a lot on the really shrill and loud element of the Democratic Party, which does advocate for these things, and then they generalize this element to the entirety of Democratic policy. And I find this maneuver really interesting because it doesn't happen to the Republicans. In fact, when we're talking about the Republicans and how people treat them, they don't even listen to their own leadership, let alone take seriously what their activist base says. But with the Democrats, even just some like random no-name blue-haired chick, I mean, she could be basically labeled as like the Democrat, even if she has absolutely no position of power within the government or the Democratic Party itself. And I think the reason this is because the Democrats have lost control of the media machine. They've ceded new media to the right, and legacy media, which they used to have a lot of control over, has basically disintegrated. I mean, people just don't really watch that anymore. The only category of people who watch that are boomers, and boomers just tend to like Fox News.
Shenandoah, yes. just to push back against, that's all well and good, but in order for us on the alternative media or the legacy media to be able to push a Democratic policy, there has to fucking be one. And there's not.
Of course.
There's not.
And
that's
to
my
be
problem.
clear,
There is no policy position. There is no real drive for any specific thing by our leadership, right? Like the let's take a look at the Hegseth stuff going on right now. What should be happening, right, is Schumer, Jeffries, all of our leadership should be calling on him nonstop to resign, should be pointing out that he broke, right? Regulations that he posted on Signal in this unsecure group chat, actual classified information, and they should be hammering that drum over and over and over. And to be clear, some of that is happening in these committees, right? I don't know if you've seen the hearings, but they're not doing that. But they can't just do that. They have to have a policy position that's positive as well.
I
can't think of one. Just real quick.
I can respond to that
just real quick, and I'll let you respond, right? But just the fact that it took all of you so long to find anything that Kamala ran on, right?
No, it's not finding something that she ran on. It's finding something that she hammered in, right? So you hit the nail on the head, except for that last thing you said, Wick, is yes, this should be hammered like to death, right? But the very last thing you said is, but they need a policy? No, actually, I mean, yes, Democrats have and do need policies, but you look at the Trump campaign and how well they did, and it was close, but they won, and they didn't have policies. They had Project 2025, which was their real policies, and they disavowed it completely. And then when you actually asked them about their real policies, they just said, oh, make things better. I mean, we're putting out signs that said Kamala crime, Trump safety. Like, the policies were vague at best, and at worst, they were literally contradictions with the other things that they said. So to say that they need policies, no, it is the media landscape. The way you get over most people are the people that are uninformed, is hammering in a point that makes them upset, that makes them go vote for your party. Like, that seems to be the thing that really matters for the vast majority of votes. People are not informed.
I don't think for Democrats, like, I don't think that for left-leaning people, I mean, yes, the media game does matter a lot, but I don't think that the Dems can run it the way the Republicans do. Like, I did hear from a lot of more centrist, but more likely to vote Dem people that they didn't like Kamala having like Megan the Stallion come on stage. They didn't like Beyonce being there. Like, they was like, that's bread and circuses. We want to hear more concrete things, you know? So it's difficult because I think that we're dealing with a very different base.
I don't want to assume, but
that...
do you hang out with mostly smart people? Because that's not most people.
I try to.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it to J-Mac. Let's give it to
Sorry.
I've
written down like 5 things. So real quick, I'll go through them quickly. First and foremost, a few of the earlier framing of if you disagree or you focus on a lot of these niche issues, that automatically makes you right wing. That's utter bullshit.
No,
I know people that are not right wing or Republicans that talk about this stuff. Hell, there's prominent left wingers in social media. Brianna Wu is one of them. She talks about trans stuff all the time. She's not a right winger.
That's a bad example. It's a bad example. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think you're right wing just for talking about this. I have people in my family that are incredibly progressive and they talk about it. What I'm saying is the reason these messages are pervasive is because of right wing media, not that you are only exclusively right if you oppose any sort of gender ideology.
It was said earlier that if that's what you, fine, whatever, regardless.
Just to clarify, sorry.
I did say that. Say that. But by and large, what I'm saying is, in my experience, have I encountered left-leaning people that do talk about these things? Yes, but the frequency, outside of people who are, not transgender themselves, it is usually right. Sometimes
look, without having like access to that data, I can't say one way or the other. I'm just saying it's not an either all or none. Moving on. The next thing I have an issue with is earlier it was mentioned that there is a huge concerted effort of the right or Republicans who own the media apparatus or the mainstream messaging or even alternative messaging. Whereas I actually agree with that to an extent. If we go back, I mean, just not even that far. The culture primarily, especially things like Hollywood or even big business to a degree, I won't say they are Democrats, but they feigned being that because it was what was popular. Mm-hmm. For example, every single brand during June puts out their Pride Month thing. Doesn't mean they actually agree or whatever, but because that was what the whole marketing team said, hey, this is what popular, this is what people typically care about. And maybe at the time they did, generally speaking, that's what they put out there. So this notion that like the left is like this underdog who's never fought or has to keep fighting for the scraps because the right wing's so strong and powerful, that's never been true my entire adult life.
Can I clarify real quick? I'm not saying that the left wing does not have a, first of all, the left wing has a hegemonic control over culture, right? Like most movies are made by left wingers. Most corporations are at least run by slightly left people, although they are like capitalists. And you can see this kind of happening with the tech sector. It is shifting right only insofar as it benefits them financially, right? So the instant that it became unprofitable to be pro Pride Month, every single one of them would stop being pro Pride Month. But that is a very different part of the media sector than the people putting out the talking points for elections. All right, no one is going and voting for the Democratic Party because their fucking orange had a rainbow on it. No one is going and voting for the Democratic Party because they made the Little Mermaid black. People are voting for the Democratic Party because of what they hear in the media, what policies they think are going to matter, or what right-wing talking points have been thrown upon them and made them think that, oh God, this is going to destroy my country if my kid comes back and he doesn't have a wiener anymore. So that's what really matters.
I agree with you. Nobody's voting because the Little Mermaid's black, but that is a thing that is prevalent and pushed forward within that circle. It's something the media focuses on, especially from a left wing and right wing, both sides.
Mostly right wing.
It was celebrated. You have okay.
Do you think would you bet me $1,000 that if I went and looked at who talked about the Black Little Mermaid more, would it be right wingers or left wingers?
When it was announced, I would
no. From now till back when it was first announced, yeah.
Typically, when those things are announced, it's announced as though it's to be celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
The lens, the microscope.
All right, and then after that, for the next 5 years,
it's cyclical.
Okay,
it's a rage cycle, of course.
I would probably put it at 80-20 right wing to left wing, right? No one's talking about
80-20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Black Little Mermaid, 100%. Yes.
No. When Black Panther was released, the entire advertisement cycle for it was the fact that it was this huge black superhero. That was the whole focus of it.
Mm-hmm.
Most normie, yes, if you're online, sure, I'll hand it to you on Twitter or whatever, or even YouTube. You get all your stupid thumbnails of people raging at, hopefully they made Snape black or whatever. But even the average person who sees that is like, What the hell? It's not logical. It's not consistent. You get people, I call them normies, who are not plugged in politically or to the whole culture war bullshit that still see this stuff and it resonates with them because that's what was being pushed. And you even see it, the turn, like you say, with corporations, and now Hollywood's following suit where they're realizing, oh, wait, this stuff isn't actually that. People don't really like this? Oh shit, we better change course. So you get these weird mishmashes of the previous messaging from a left-wing perspective or left-wing values, and then kind of mixed in with what I would consider to be a normie perspective of entertainment, of
And
just good storytelling.
Just to be clear, you think this is hurting Democrats?
I do. Yeah, okay. I do. I think that's a large portion.
Yeah, and just
of course.
real quick.
I agree with the hurting part.
Just housekeeping. Just housekeeping. Keep the super chats coming. I'll read them on the top of the hour. When we get to 7 o'clock, I'll read all your super chats. Keep them coming in. Keep giving me money. Like, stream, subscribe to the stream, all the stream, not the stream. But yeah, I want to give it to New York Shade. I know he's been trying to get in here, and then I want to give it to Shann and andoa, and then Charlie, and then we'll keep going.
Yeah, look, I think you could say that media is clearly a factor, but to say that it was the cause of the Democrats' monumental failure in the past election is intellectually lazy, and it's a complete lack of introspection altogether. The reason that the Democrats are failing right now is because they cannot sell their policy. If you look at exit polls from the 2024 election, the top two concerns were the economy and immigration, and traditionally Democrats and their policies more centered around social issues like healthcare, abortion, education. There was no alignment. Kamala was not strong on the economy. She was not strong on immigration. And this idea that Americans have to come to the 2024 election with a blank slate after Kamala was VP under Biden and letting millions of immigrants over the border, it's just asinine thinking. It is not grounded in reality. What Democrats need is strong leadership that is willing to accept that the Democrat Party of the past 4 to 8 years is a failure, and that there's a new way forward that is much more central or center left, akin to what a Bill Clinton Democrat was.
This is super irrelevant. Are you saying Kamala?
Yeah, Kamala, whatever.
No, I just didn't know if you're doing like a nothing.
Oh no, I'm not memeing. I think she was just so unimpressive. I don't care to remember her name whatsoever.
Damn, yeah. Donald Trump. Am I right, guys? We fucking got him. Yeah, so I actually don't even disagree with a lot of what you just said. Like, yeah, I'm not. First of all, I'm not saying the election was lost simply because of right-wing media focus. Yeah, the Democrats have been pushing their message incredibly poorly, especially when your figurehead is a sundowning man, and then Kamala Harris, who gets 2 seconds of the ability to speak for herself, and then gets sorry, I forgot your name. Charlie said of the Hillary Clinton campaign manager tactics of like, what if we appeal to the center right, which is clearly not working. But to say then that like, oh, we have to forget the past 48 years as if they didn't win the election 5 years ago,
because you're a candidate that was historically one of the most extreme liberals in Congress, right? You're expecting the Americans to give people a blank slate just because they're running for re-election, and they're simply just not. But
you're operating under the premise that somehow the Biden policies from 2020 to 2024 were just so bad for everyone that they remember it at the polls, and not, hey, we passed a lot of
policy good.
I mean, that's debatable. I don't think it was the most amazing, but that is what a lot of people voted on. But if we look at like economic policies, our recovery was really good. We look at the way we tried to move chip industry back. Like, there's a lot of things that you can look at and be happy about. I think the reason most people don't even know about those things. And that's why I wanted to talk about the media so much, because the right wing does have a capitalization on, we don't need policies as long as we just hammer in a message and spread it to the most people. That's what's going to get their votes. Like, we don't have to talk about how we're going to raise or lower prices at the grocery store. And in fact, we won't do it once it happens. We just have to say we will. We don't have to talk about how we're going to fix the war on day one. We're just going to say we will, and then we won't. So like, this is clearly like a message. Like, every single person I talk to, every Trump supporter has some sort of answer for some policy, for some problem that's going on that is incredibly stupid and vague, and that was what was hammered into them for a whole year. And then you look at what the Democrats are saying. Oh, hey, like, we have this kind of complicated thing, or we don't have a very strong thing. It's a little limp-wristed, and that doesn't resonate with people. Go ahead, sorry.
I do want to get more people in, right? And I know we're all eager to talk. We're all eager to get our shots in and things like that. I want to go to Shann and andoa, then Charlie, and then go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to build off what you were saying, Mr. Pill. So,
Mr. Pill. Yeah, okay.
I actually do agree with what you're saying, because honestly, I don't even think that the Republicans have been really that great on the economy since Bush. And to be honest with you, I don't even think what Biden did was that terrible for the economy. I'm not saying it was perfect. I know that there was inflation. But the principal reason people latched on to inflation is such a big deal is because of the Republican media apparatus. And specifically, I wanted to get back to what you were saying, Mr. Cumac, about the left having a hegemonic control over Hollywood. I think the thing which currently drives conversation in this country is the alternative media sphere, which I really do think Republicans just have on fucking lock, like really way better than the Democrats do. I just think the Democrats are unfortunately where they have control is in legacy media, and nobody finds that
A
particularly
question
important.
for you, Shenandoah, on that.
Yes, please.
Right?
And if I can answer it too, that would be nice.
Yeah, no, I will let you.
Can I jump in right after?
Really simply, yeah, and you guys can jump in after
Yeah.
and give your thoughts. Should Kamala have gone on to Joe Rogan then?
I mean, honestly, I don't think it would have been that bad of an idea. I think I think Joe Rogan definitely would have been a bit biased against her, but
wait. Before you even answer that, they stonewalled her. They like purposely avoided letting her on.
There's
So
literally conflicting. Yeah, there's literally conflict. It's like he said, she said. So we don't know.
Yeah, because I heard.
Yeah, well, do I trust the guy who? No, so go ahead. Sorry.
I guess the reason I'm asking the question, maybe we can get a beyond all the he said, she said, is there is a current question within the Democratic Party on whether or not Democratic politicians should go on to right-wing shows. There are people who say, no, don't go on to Joe Rogan, don't go on to Lex Friedman, don't go on to any of these podcasts because they're just biased and they're going to get you, right? And you shouldn't go on them. We should just stonewall them. And then there's another school of thought that thinks, oh, no, we need to fight in this. We need to fight on their turf. We need to go into their spaces and we need to get our message out there. Spoiler alert, I think we should go and fight. But a lot of people disagree with me. What do you think? Is my question.
I actually agree with you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a question directed at me, and then I'll let you go, New York. I'll be quick.
I'll let everyone answer too. I want to hear.
Yeah, I actually do agree. I think that they are biased, but I think you should pretty much contest every contestable ground you could possibly get. My understanding of the events, and this might be factually wrong, but this is just what I understood, is that the people in charge of Kamala's messaging strategy basically just did not like Joe Rogan and so advised Kamala against it, and so she ultimately did not go on. They were actually open to going on, but ultimately it was the Democrat like messaging class, I guess you could call it, who essentially thought it was a bad idea. And I think like those kinds of people are like the real cause of why Democrats just suck so much in the media, because the Democratic Party keeps listening to these goddamn idiots who keep saying like, actually, I think if we just run more ads on MSNBC, we'll be okay. I don't think that's a good strategy. I think you need to build up a presence in alternative media and go on some alternative media that doesn't agree with you in order to reach those people and fight that ground. You don't want to just concede it. But no, that's the end of my sentence. I had another thing, but I forgot.
A lot of people went in on this one, so I want to give it to Charlie. There's New York Shade.
Yeah. I think like we're talking about Kamala Harris's policies and how someone said earlier that the concerns of the American people were economic, and then I think this was New York Shade then said Dems usually focus on culture things like healthcare and UBI. I think that those things are economic and in nature, because it has to do with where our money goes. And there was a Democratic candidate, as I'm sure we all recall, that really did push for the universal single payer healthcare, who was kind of shafted by the Dems on purpose. And I think despite the widespread popularity of Bernie Sanders' policies, proposed policies, for some reason, it's the neoliberal establishment, they won't run on it anymore. And so I really do think that at the upper echelons there needs to be some sort of change. And yes, also they need to go on right-wing media.
Charlie, do you think a Bernie or a Bernie like candidate can win in America today?
Yes, I do. I still believe.
I don't. I disagree with you. So, but sell me on it. Why? Why would Bernie succeed, despite him not being able to win any of the primaries?
I mean, I think that he was fucked by his own party, frankly. That's one of the conspiracies that I believe, is that the Dems fucked him on purpose. and wanted Clinton in there. But I truly do think, especially after this Doge nonsense, I think that things like, universal healthcare will become increasingly more popular, especially as we might lose Medicaid and Medicare. I think that people are going to become desperate, and maybe I have too much faith right now in people's abilities to, their like critical thinking skills. But I think it's quite possible.
Okay.
Just
what do the rest of you think? Go ahead.
I want to highlight something that Shann and Doa said earlier, not too long ago, that I think is really important because it exemplifies what is wrong with the Democratic messaging. And Shann and Noah, you said that the only reason that Americans cared about inflation is because right-wing media put a spotlight on it. And that is the exact type of insulting, condescending, elitist verbiage that has been used by the Democratic establishment to insult the average American. Because what
Well,
you're
thank you. I am quite condescending and elitist.
Hold on, because what you're implying is that the average American cannot feel 22% gross inflation over a 4-year period with stagnant real growth, wage growth. It is just an insult. Like you're saying, oh, the only reason that people care about it is because the media highlighted it. But what actually is happening and why the messaging is so off the mark is that people are actually feeling it.
Yeah, but the problem is that everyone blows up inflation like, oh, it's Biden's fault for the shutdown. It's Biden's fault. It's America's fault, and not this was a worldwide phenomenon due to COVID and supply chain restrictions. And like all the countries that did not also print money and give it to people were feeling the same effects. And so, yeah, inflation's a problem. Yeah, people feel it. But why do people feel it, and who do they blame for it? I think that's kind of what he was alluding to. Not that, oh, inflation's not a big deal. Even though, and might remind everyone that as Joe Biden was leaving office, we had already pretty much gotten inflation damn near down to like what 3 or 2%, like the target rates.
Just to be clear, I did not say that inflation did not matter at all or that it was a good thing. I was just saying that I felt like they focused a lens on inflation specifically, and as Soy Pill said, it was a global problem that a lot of countries were suffering from, and that the United States was actually coming out relatively unscathed and was getting better. And a lot of that was a product of policies that were enacted during 2020. Like, a lot of the reason that inflation happened is because a lot of the ports were closed because the entire global economy shut down. Right, and like, what the hell is President Biden supposed to do about that? Republicans laid that at the feet of Biden, and that is a messaging thing. It's like that's what I'm saying. There's like an over focus on this flaw.
So the inflation had nothing to do with Biden pumping another trillion and a half into the economy.
It had very little to do with it. It didn't have nothing. It didn't have nothing to do with it.
Right, and it's supply chain issues, which, by the way, would be resolved with tariffs. But we can get into that.
Charlie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I can see that face. Charlie, you got to release that stress.
I'm not quite sure how tariffs would fix inflation.
That's not what I said.
It would fix the supply chain.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can put a tariff on the Suez Canal, they'll fix it faster and that sort of stuff.
If we have no supply chain, it fixes the supply chain. That's actually a really brilliant idea.
No one's shipping goods. It will be fixed.
That's the assumption that the tariff is the be-all, end-all, and that's where it stops with the policy.
If you produce everything within our borders, there are no supply chains.
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't just create factories in 1 year and then just start producing all the things we couldn't import. That's a crazy idea. I don't know why we didn't do that.
Well, we're getting a massive factory here it's a chip producing factory in Arizona. It's one of the largest in the world, and that's going to be pretty cool. So
yeah, and it's about 3 or 4 years after they passed the bill to do that, and it's going to take a while to get it up and running. And I really like it. It's awesome that they're doing that, but it is not what would have fixed the fucking supply chain.
They're going fast. They already got those beams up.
Look, computer chips had nothing to do with the COVID. Computer chip supply chains had nothing to do with the COVID inflation crisis.
That actually did have a little to do with it, but it was not the majority share.
Maybe 1 or 2%, whatever. But anyway, it just goes back to this tone-deaf messaging that Democrats need to come to terms with what the actual middle American is facing, and this kind of elitist gender equality, like healthcare, abortion rights. It is just so far removed from the core needs.
What is elitist about abortion rights?
Yeah, like Republicans don't care about abortion rights.
I feel like those things were like very normal. Like, everyone was like, "Cool, we like abortion," and it was only like weird religious extremists that were against it. No. Because listen,
sure, go ahead.
I know a lot of conservatives, and no one had said a goddamn thing about abortion for like 15 years. 15
Okay.
years. So I don't.
So
You're
that's
pro-choice? Are you an
that's been
elitist?
That's been a top ticket issue. It's been a wedge issue for Republicans forever, for
Yeah,
a
like
very, very long
50
time.
years. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yes.
It's been pretty wedge for a while, even though
Yeah.
you can argue that it was drudged up back
I don't
then, but
hear
not
anything-
as
I
of
do
recently.
not-
And the issue with we're going to go back to the messaging with the Democrats. Here's another issue. So let's talk about the extremes. Let's talk about the niche and the spotlights. Okay. So a big issue that I have now, I happen to be very, very, I don't like saying pro-life, pro-choice. Like those are emotionally loaded terms, but for the sake of the conversation, I'm very pro-life. Okay. So let's talk about the extremes on both ends, right? You've got your extreme pro-life that are saying no abortion whatsoever, point of conception, blah, 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 blah. End of story. Then you've got the extremes on the left saying, hey, man, up until that baby comes out that canal, it ain't a baby, get rid of it. Okay? Those are the extremes. Now you have variations all the way in between those extremes, and you see this all over Europe too. The different weeks or trimesters that they allow. Typically, most people, when you take polls, are about, I think it's like 22 weeks. It's like about 14 to 22 weeks is like the average for most people. Okay? You have now these are elected officials at this point. We're not just talking about pundits. You have elected officials that are not willing to say, even if it's a stupid thing, because nobody's going to do that, just throw that aside, are not willing to say, no, you shouldn't abort a baby in the ninth month of the first trimester. Like, that's a baby. Don't chop it up. Don't suck it out. No. You didn't have, I can't recall a single mainstream Democrat would ever say anything close to that. It was always, well, it was the answer that kind of brushed it to the side of like, well, it's not the government's position. It's like, well, no, sometimes when it comes to human life, it does kind of become the government's issue. And that's what we're discussing.
Well, the issue is they don't want to see like they're coming off on the negative side of ectopic pregnancies or any other medical emergency. So they don't want to say, no, we should never have an abortion at 9 months.
No.
Because they're worried about their constitution.
You're not going to have a 9-month ectopic pregnancy. That's not how that works.
The point
doesn't develop.
They don't want to.
The thing is that. Sorry,
go ahead.
you go.
No,
ahead.
you can go ahead.
No, Charlie, don't let him talk over you.
Okay,
you gotta step on him. Okay, go ahead.
So the way that like very late term abortions work, they're not like pulling out a live baby and like slapping it down like a fucking fish.
I know.
It's like the baby is dead inside of the mother, or will die very quickly. This is the reason that late term abortions happen. It's
it's the reason they had the heart beat bill that Walz vetoed. I know. I've researched this extensively.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like they wouldn't disavow it because they're like, yeah, fucking kill a 9-month-old fetus. That's awesome.
But the problem is the messaging portion. When you won't, like I said, I prefaced how I said this. I said, regardless of how insane it might be, the sheer fact that you won't say, yeah, don't abort a baby in the 3rd trimester. Or up to point of birth.
The thing is, Democrats have a lot more to lose than the right wing because abortion polls much better with Democrats. Unfortunately, that's why the midterms they got fucking destroyed when they got rid of Roe v. Wade. So
Charlie,
it wouldn't benefit them to say that. It would only make them lose Democratic votes. Go ahead, sorry.
Charlie, you said we had to. Can you elaborate?
I'm sorry. What did I say? We had to.
We kind of have to. You
have
went
to what?
to J-Mac when he said, you guys won't even say don't abort a baby in the 3rd trimester.
Point of birth. Yeah,
because that's and again, I'm also maybe giving people too much credit, but like people who have like I don't know, basic understanding of, I guess, abortion or medicine in general, perhaps, do want to hear that if a mother is going to die or if a fetus is dead inside of someone,
of course,
that there would be, no laws preventing someone from surviving that.
Yeah, of course. If the fetus is not viable, it should be removed. But viability being the term.
Guys, we're discussing if abortion is right or wrong, which is not the crux of this debate, right?
We're talking about
the messaging of it. Yeah,
right. And that's my point about it being an elitist topic in the 2024 election, when the everyday American cared about the economy and immigration. And Kamala Harris centered a lot of her campaign around the topic of abortion, which is really just
half of America can.
Well, sure, but what I'm saying is that for the majority of America, the top 2 topics were the economy and immigration. And if the Democrats come in leading with abortion, that is just brushing aside the 2 priorities of most of the Americans. And that is what's missing with the messaging.
Well, you're missing something there. It's not most of Americans. It's most of right-wingers. They care about the economy. Most Americans care about the economy. The border stuff is most of right-wingers.
The U.S. American population exit polls were the top 2 concerns for everybody was the economy and immigration. Point blank, period.
I'm gonna look it up, but you might be right.
But
Okay.
Go ahead,
Fair
someone
I
else.
still think abortion is probably pretty important to like maybe 50% of the population, though. I think that's like kind of a bread and butter issue for the people who might like,
It's pretty.
you know, like that have to
well,
give
well, like
birth
I
and
said,
it is
stuff.
not as important
maybe
as their wallet and
did
personal
mention-
safety.
You did
Yeah.
mention, I think one
That
of
is
us,
personal
someone
safety.
mentioned, it might have
Yeah.
been New York Shade. If I'm getting it wrong on who mentioned this, please forgive me. It's you guys talk a lot. But someone mentioned that the only demographic that actually grew for Democrats were women, right? Women specifically.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was New
think
York
that
Shade.
perhaps
White
one of
women.
the reasons that might be is due to the abortion issue and the Roe v. Wade. But I
Well,
don't know.
Wait,
Probably.
okay, wait,
100%.
Wick, I
Yeah.
have to admit wrong. The top two things for Kamala Harris voters were not the abortion. It was actually the state of democracy and the economy. So excuse me. Abortion was 3. So my bad.
I guess, but this does bring up a question, right? And again, thank you for all the super chats. We'll get to them in about 10 minutes. Don't worry. The question I have, and this kind of ties into what JMac is saying, because I don't necessarily entirely disagree with JMac, but I don't entirely agree either, right? But I think that one of the things I have seen, and one of the concerns I've felt for a long time, is that we have an extreme core on the left who hold our politicians hostage. They can't say basic shit because if they say these just obvious truths, they're going to be excoriated, right?
Like
you
what?
can't have a left winger who says, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable with abortions. I think it should be legal because it's not my choice, right? But I just don't like abortions. I think it gives me the ick. I do think that because of medical reasons and things like that, that women should have access to abortions, even if they're trimester. But I don't
In
like
what
that
world,
at all.
Wick,
Isn't
has
this
anyone? Yeah, what?
this just a general problem that like polarization causes? Like, aren't the Republicans suffering from the same thing too? where,
Yes,
like,
they
almost every-
are. Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
I just don't know why it's like
that's a
like,
problem for everyone, right? For
I always
lot of
just find it
reasons.
weird how it's like something can affect
Oh, we're
both the
talking about the
Democrats and the
Democrats
Republicans.
today.
It could be asymmetric. Well, yeah, of course, but like obviously, if something is a problem that both parties have, it theoretically shouldn't lead to like the failure of one party if they're both about equal in the same problem. So then, like,
1.5%
Well-
difference in vote in 3 states, we would have had Kamala Harris as a president. Let's not
Whoa,
pretend.
whoa! It was a
this
monumental
wasn't-
defeat, Wick. I believe
this-
was said
let's not
earlier.
pretend this wasn't a fucking close election, right? Like we're
House,
talking
Congress,
50-50s.
the president, the presidential office, the Supreme Court, all Republican power. But okay, sure, it was.
Yeah.
It was monumental because you lost to Trump. That's why it was monumental.
Well, okay,
yeah, Reagan
that's
fucking swept. Like I
We only have
like,
a slim majority in Congress, I believe, right?
But
Yeah,
also,
well,
what I was
every
gonna say.
single
Only a
swing
slim
state.
majority.
Every single swing state.
landslide,
boy.
guys.
And
But what
Trump.
I was gonna say is that yeah, I get what you're saying, and yes, it is a very close thing, but I just feel like if we're thinking logically, the reason that the Democrats lost can't be something that's shared by 2 parties, unless one of the parties is getting a lot more messaging on that problem than the other party. Like, for example, if polarization is affecting both parties pretty significantly, and we know that they are, we have studies that show that, but polarization for the Democrats is getting a big spotlight shown on it, people are going to focus on that a lot more. Like, I know we're talking about the Democrats right now, but I just think the reason people think that the Democrats are specifically the ones being held hostage by their extremist faction, meanwhile, Trump is probably the most extreme Republican that's ever run for office and is holding pretty much the entire party hostage.
They're all extremists too. They lost their civil war, right? They are extremists. But here's my statement. Here's my prediction. Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction. I think predictions are important, so you can go back and look and say, hey, was he right? Was he wrong? Why was he right?
Isn't that your Twitter bio?
Predictions,
You were right
exactly.
about everything.
I was well, not everything. The 2022
Everything.
I got wrong 2022. But everything else since 2016 I've been right on. But here we go. My prediction is the party that rejects its extremists first will win in a landslide.
Wick, we rejected our extremists in the election, and we got Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney up there. When we lost, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Hold on,
And even
do you
even right
think-
even right now,
Liz
Democrats
Cheney
Hold on.
up there is a good thing.
Hold on. Do you think that moderates and centrists felt that Kamala pandered to them or tried to win or successfully tried to win them over in any single way?
I think some of them did, but I think it didn't work. I'm saying they tried to, and it
Why
didn't work.
It work? That's no, that you're right.
Because the media messaging of Kamala being this extreme communist is better on the right than Kamala saying, "Hey, actually, I'm not an extreme communist," which just didn't work.
The reason no one believed
the media had things to point to, though. That's the big issue. That whole thing with her talking about the gender reassignment for prisoners. The whole reason why the Trump's team had that ad is because
idiots would listen to it and say, wow, this is a big fucking policy, when it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. Are you going to tell me how much it matters? Tell me how much it matters.
I'm sorry, Soy, I got to say this because, and somewhat to you as well, Charlie. Look, if you're wanting to be in the game of persuading people, even if you are a 140 IQ genius, try to tone down the condescension. Because as soon as you start telling people they're stupid or they lack critical thinking, even if they do, even if the average IQ is 100, that means what did George Carlin say, then the rest are below that. Even if that's true, you are not convincing people by belittling them.
I'm not trying to convince these people right now, but I'm telling you that if
you're not going to win.
I'm not going to win. Am I fucking campaigning right now? The election's up for 3 years. I'm saying that if you think that transgender surgery for that one prisoner is a big issue, you're a fucking moron. Yeah, no. I'm going to say it.
Well, the ad that Trump put out there apparently made a 3% swing in the final election results.
Yeah, I agree. Trump voters are overwhelmingly stupid. Yes.
And Kamala Harris's past position on it. This is, again, you asking the general public to be tone deaf and not do their due diligence on what has been said by these political figures.
I'm asking the Democrats to come out and say, hey, who gives a fuck when you bring up a transgender surgery in prisoner? But instead they're like, look, well, actually, and they explain the real position, which is I think that everyone should have health care regardless of what that is in a prison. And I think that's a perfectly fine position. But unfortunately, it doesn't pull well with people. They need to be like, hey, why the fuck are we talking about this? People are struggling out there. Why do you give a shit about some fucking priser and that's getting a surgery? Who gives a shit? That's what they should be saying.
Because people care where their tax dollars go.
I also feel like New York Shade, like what you just said, is basically a contradiction in terms. Like if people just do not care about like social issues like the trans stuff, why the hell would it cause a 3-point swing in Pennsylvania? And so like I don't understand how that makes any logical sense.
Because Republicans addressed the economy and immigration.
They did. I mean, honestly, I don't
what was Trump's economy? What was Trump's economy? How is he going to fix the economy? What was his policy?
Plans.
Yeah, exactly. He had concepts of a plan. And what is he doing right now to fix it?
That was in regards to healthcare. First of all, let's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that his policy positions on everything are that stupid. Excuse me. They're all the same.
The plan is to lower taxes. It is to implement tariffs to offset to generate the revenue to offset the loss of taxes.
How's that going right now?
So raise taxes.
Okay, hold on. That's important. Wait. Hold on. Soy, you just said, so you brought up the question, what are his policies? Then Shade presents them, and you say, well, how's it going? Look, we're not talking whether the policies are good or bad. Yeah. You said he had none.
The policy is excuse me. He didn't say nothing. He said, I'm going to do tariffs to everything. And then they asked, how is that going to fix the economy? His is, well, we'll just get money back. And you look and that's clearly not happening. Excuse me. You're right. He didn't say a word. He didn't just go silent. Policies. But that's okay.
You said
excuse me.
No policies that he
I'm sorry, we're playing the mega pedantic game. Would I say he doesn't have a policy? It's not, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's
I disagree with the policy.
I'm going to fix it. I'm going to use tariff. Yeah, tariff is the thing I'm going to do. Instead of, a fucking plan.
You think they're stupid, which is fine.
Okay, so would you agree that it's a policy if I go, I'm going to make the country better? Is that a policy?
Well, do you tell me how you're going to do it?
I'm going to fix it. I'm going to be very strong. I'm going to be strong about it.
Are you saying I'm going to install tariffs?
Well, people are scared of me. I mean, no. So Iran is scared of me, and Colombia is scared. I'm not saying he said that. I'm saying I'm not saying is that what he's saying. I'm saying is this a policy? Am I telling you a policy right now? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell them, hey, you guys have to do this. That's what I'm going to do. That's my policy. Is that a policy? I'm not saying it's what it's saying. I'm saying is what I just said a policy.
You accuse me of not knowing what Trump's
policy is. Excuse me, is it a policy for me to go into a country and say, hey, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be very firm and they're going to listen to me. That's how I'm going to fix it. Is that a policy?
No, but it is a policy.
Is that a policy? Okay, so his shit wasn't policies either because that's total bullshit to say, oh, we're going to use tariffs to fix the economy. It's fucking ridiculous.
Whatever he said,
it's not a policy, guys. Tariffs is not a policy. Okay.
So we're going to get to Super Chats in a second, but there are two positions that I remember Trump running on fairly strongly. The two I remember, and I followed the campaign fairly closely, was they were going to deport all the illegal immigrants. That was a policy that he ran on strongly, right? And that they were going to end the Ukraine war on day one, right? No more foreign aid to foreign countries, right? That was a policy that he put forward. I think those policies are bad, right? And we can see the execution, especially the immigration policy, is horrific, especially since a
Phenomenal.
lot of the immigrants they're trying to deport are here legally, right? Who have green cards, who have visas, who didn't come in here, jump the border, jump the fence, and things like that. And they're literally making up reasons, violating the First Amendment, and stripping them of their rights and due process in order to do this. And it's a horrific thing. But that is a policy he ran on. But let's get to super chats, and then we'll get back to the discussion. I got a few here, so let me get through them. Thank you for the super chats. Keep giving them to me. Give me your money. I will use it much more efficiently than the government. Okay. $5 from Joe the Mig. Stop siding with the 20% on every 80-20 issue. Problem solved. Thank you for $5. $10 from Psychonaut. The Dems are weak. Right now, they should be hammering all the screw-ups the right is doing, yet they are relatively quiet and complacent. Hashtag Schumers. Thank you for the $10. $5 from Deej Nuts to say Daddy J-Mac. Based DOE hater. Thanks for that. $5 more from Deej Nuts. The Republicans made
what does he mean by the DOE? J-Mac?
Department of Education. $5 from Deej Nuts to say the Republican made Kamala Harris a public support, state-funded transition for prisoners with no magic. $2 from Deej Nuts to say they could not push niche. They could just not push niche policies. $5 from Joe the Mick. Harris literally campaigned on gender-affirming care for prison inmates during her 2019 run. This isn't right-wing fear-mongering. $2 from Deej Nuts.
She campaigned on it. It was one of her platforms. You could go read on her website, I'm sure.
I glaze for Daddy J-Mac. $2 more. Kamala Toe. Thank you for that. $20 from Joe the Mick. Biden was terrible for the economy. Fiscal dominance worsened the size and duration of inflation. It wasn't picked up on by right-wing media. People felt the severity of the impact. How are you this unplugged from normies? $5 from D's Nuts. Democrats lost Roe when protest chants went from safe, legal, and rare to shout your abortion. $5 from Fetter Methodist. Please move away from the abortion topic. Very sensitive for me. My girlfriend had an abortion because she wasn't sure the baby was hers. $1 from Dan Dietzo. Thank you for the dollar. $2 from Deej Nuts to say Trump is an expert at beating women. $2 more at Deej Nuts to say, why aren't these retards voting for my policies? $20 from Slongians too. Wick. We always enjoy your panels. However, we heard that JMax CTRGB will be demoed at DaveCon, Minnesota, and has 2 seats open. Wouldn't it be great if you guys came to fight Slongy and Stu? Wouldn't that be awesome? I'll tell you what, if J-Mac flies me out, I will play against whoever I want, whoever he wants me to play. $5 from Jeff Lewis to say for the whole panel, and we'll get to the discussion. We'll use this as a good jumping off point. What would your response be to a politician saying, abortion is ending babies, but sometimes it's better to end the baby? And we can, maybe that's a poor place to start, but we'll start there, and then I have a question.
Yeah, you're really contradicting that first super chat. Says, please stop talking about abortion.
I mean, it's a political conversation. It's a political issue. It's probably going to come up. It's just one of those things, you know.
Are we responding to this?
No, hold on. I guess. Here, let me start with this. Who do you guys have a favorite? Who should the Democratic Party run in 2028?
So early to say. It's way too early to say.
Yeah. I think after midterms, we'll probably have a better idea of who would be a top contender.
What should their flagship platform be?
Mark Kelly would be my first guess, by the way.
Stephen A. Smith.
You know, he would probably kind of work.
Centrist center. I think that they're going to keep pushing for, more centrist candidates, which is going to fail.
Yeah, but what should their flagship issue be?
I think the most dark woke person that's going to go out and call them like every slur in the book on the debate stage is going to win. Waltz. No, Waltz is a little too nice for me. He's getting there, but
yeah, I guess he wouldn't say he wouldn't call them
Waltz
slurs.
has no chance.
Is dark woke is that an actual phenomenon?
It is now.
It's just it's like an internet joke. It's an internet joke.
Okay.
You wait. It will no longer be an internet joke.
Like if dark Gothic's MAGA.
Honestly, I actually feel like that would resonate with the quote unquote normies. It's just I think it was
kind of.
Yeah,
it is.
It's
just
kind of lame.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Biden laserized things didn't.
When Biden said, "Will you shut up?" on the debate stage, he polled incredibly well because that's what everyone is thinking at home. No one is thinking, "Oh boy, I want to talk to Dick Cheney." Or call that guy fat. Exactly.
Listen here, fat.
I feel like the left used to be a bit edgy. Back
yeah.
when I was like a kid, it was edgy, and I feel like it's gone soft and corporate. And
I just want
to bring back that edgy. We have to.
Yeah, I just want a Democrat who looks like they might kill
back.
somebody. Like, I just want to, like, a guy who, like, maybe is in, like, prison for murder.
Do you guys,
I want him to be my
Do you guys remember that 2016 Democrat primary candidate? I forgot his name, but it was the one who talked about how he killed some guy in a soldier, like, some soldier in a pit with, like, a grenade, and, like, that was his closing statement. It was just, like, his PTSD war story. Let's vote for that guy. That guy, yeah, 100%.
I'm down. Yeah, I'll vote for that guy. I'll be that guy.
I don't know if this wins. I don't know if let's just be really mean wins.
Why? Why not? It's working for them.
Is teaching me.
I'm tired of playing nice.
Stop caring so much. Like, stop being polite.
I think to your point, Wick,
has changed.
I think to your point, Wick, and to kind of encompass everyone's opinions on this, I think that it's not foregoing the decorum so much, but it's appealing to the average person who just doesn't really care about the stuffy attitude that politicians typically exhibit. I think that's like meeting that sweet middle ground between those two kind of personalities.
Yeah.
Okay, just push back on. Hold on. Just because Charlie Charlie and Shenandoah and Soy Pill, I think you're wrong, and I'll tell you why. Right? We have the data of the last election, right? I understand, and we can present dueling data here, perhaps, but we have the data from the 2024 election. Leftists, people who identified as left-leaning, came out. Right? They showed up. They didn't stay home. You know who stayed home? The moderates, the centrists, right? The people who were turned off by all the mudslinging and all that.
And now 83% of them are like disapprove of Trump's policies. So, you know.
Yes, and they might because Trump is again horrifically, they're incompetent. They all don't know what they're doing. They might in the future hold their nose and vote. But if we want to win them back, politeness, if you will, combative moderation, I think, is the best way to do it.
I think you're just conflating being like a centrist and being a fighter. I want a fighter who isn't necessarily like super far left on social issues, because it's like the American people just don't want that right now. I just want somebody who's like a very militantly anti-Trump guy who has some fucking chutzpah, you know, has some goddamn fire. They don't got to be mean, but they just got to be really firm and aggressive. Like, one of the biggest problems with the Democrats is that people perceive them as weak.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, Tim Walz went on the VP stage and just like kowtowed and agreed with fucking JD Vance after calling him, you know, oh, this is the end of democracy. But, you know, we agree on a lot. And actually, this guy's not so bad. Like, yeah, that's feckless. It's lip-wristed. Get that guy the fuck out of there. Get someone in that's going to be like, fuck you and your stupid policies and your lies. Newsom is podcasting with Steve Bannon, who's Nazi saluting on the fucking stage. So absolutely not.
Yeah, Newsom is not good.
But he's also, I think he's also like a sociopath. But I also think that he really hates Trump.
The reason the Democrats haven't been able to win is because they can no longer sell their policy. They need to provide some proof that their policy works. And you see two abject failures in California, for example, and in New York, where you're also dealing with an electoral reality that by 2030, there's going to lose representation. We're seeing mass outflows of residents from California and New York, and big ballooning in states like Florida and Texas, right, because of what kind of policy, right? So not
Wait, why do you think it's expensive?
Is it not expensive in California?
Okay. No, I live here. I'm paying a lot of money. I'm asking you why you think it's expensive.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It matters who's running it right now.
It kind of matters, right? Because what policies are going to change that, right? And what policies are going to get voters to vote for the people who are going to change that or not change it.
There's a lot of specific policies.
You can live in this imaginary reality where people don't align the Democrat Party with the rise in prices in California more so than any other state.
I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that. I'm asking you what policies they were.
Hundreds of thousands of residents every single year. They're going to red states. They're
Why
beefing up the
do you think
college position of
the prices
states, and it's going to make it even
high
harder for Democrats?
I can answer that question. If you
Thank you, please.
Regulation,
Jay, please answer.
Spending. Oh, come on, it's everything.
It's a lot of, I would say primarily, especially if we're talking about businesses or small businesses, a lot of it's regulatory and environmental measures that are being taken.
Yeah,
no, you're not. Of those things. I mean, just an example I can take. I went back to visit my buddies there like a few months ago, and we go to Safeway and we're checking out, and it's like, you got to pay for your bags. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do I got to pay for my bags? Like,
okay, wait, hold on. We're talking about high prices, not the 10-cent fucking bag charge.
I understand that, but that's okay. But I'm saying that is indicative of the mindset of the policies being set. something so stupid that I don't see in any other state that I've
Right.
been to.
Well, okay, fair enough. Because you look at, well, oh, we can't build this, apartment complex in San Francisco because the shade that it will cause on this playground is going to cause some sort of vitamin D deficiency. So that's going to drive the prices of housing up because we don't have another 10,000 units. That's what I'm talking about. It's a lack of housing.
Yeah, I'm saying it's an indicative.
His main policy was building more housing. It was Kamala Harris. It was
the
deregulating
prices
housing. It was
in
Kamala Harris. It was
California-
one of her flagship policies.
Or the
That
prices
was
in
very,
California
very
because
popular
of
with
the
independents.
Republicans.
What?
Or the rise in prices and the high cost of living in California, is that due because of Democrat governance or Republican governance? Simple question.
Yeah, Democrat,
I mean,
of
it's
course.
because of high land value, because a lot of people want to live.
Yeah,
in
and
California.
because people want to live here
People are
because it's
leaving.
a lot
And this
better.
is where, like,
I
And
know
peop-
some
and
are leaving, but
people
that's
are
not
coming in,
high.
too.
It
That's
was
why
not a
it's
building.
expensive because a lot of money comes out of California. A lot of money is made here.
Whoa, hold on. Do you not agree with that, Shade? You know we're like the 5th largest like GDP in the world, right?
I completely understand that. What does that have to do with prices? The
Because-
U.S. economy
because
is the largest in the world, and prices are
Because it's
Not
because
the
we
highest
pay
in the
people
world.
really well, because the gentrification drives prices up, because there's a
hold on.
lot of people who want to be here right
people are
now.
leaving because of it.
Yes.
And people are coming,
Hill,
too.
You're correct. You're right. California has the largest GDP because of a lot of the industry that's there. You have Silicon Valley. You have, I mean, you used to have a huge, at least in the Bay Area, a lot of energy, manufacturing and whatnot. But a lot of those places, a lot of those companies, privately owned ones, are leaving because of a lot of the regulatory costs, a lot of the taxes being levied at larger corporations or larger groups. And so people, your business-minded people, I mean, from anecdotal experience, my grandfather, who's a CEO, he left California back in 2000, his company back in 2000, and I want to say 10, and we're talking multi-billion-dollar capital company, auto salvage auction company. Boom, just took it out, put it in Texas.
But they
Okay.
also go to they're moving to like isn't there concerns that Texas or certain like parts of Texas might, flip blue because of the influx of techies?
They were
Like
concerned
Austin,
about that before
right?
2024.
Oh, Austin's been blue
So
for a while.
it's not like these like people are leaving California and they're like, I'm Republican now. These
No,
people, while they may be like, I mean, they're neo-libs, but they're still socially liberal.
I think you should
They're
remind yourself
capitalists is what
of
they
the
are.
margins of Florida
Yeah, they're
and Texas in
capitalists.
2024.
What did you say?
I think you should consider the margins that Florida and Texas won the Trump vote by in 2024. It's not going to make a difference just because a couple of liberals moved there. But it is going to increase the Texas representation on the Electoral
Wait,
College.
is it a couple of liberals? I thought we were talking about mass exodus. You're like talking out of both sides of your mouth.
It's 500,000 people have left California between 2022 and 2024. Net.
Out of what, 40 million?
500,000? That's not a
Net.
lot.
Net.
Oh, net?
Net.
Okay, so yeah, that's like barely.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're replacing them pretty quickly. It's almost like it's a
mean,
very
okay,
desirable state to live in, and people like living here, and the prices are really high because it's
What
fucking
is-
awesome.
Okay, let's get
You're
to this.
delusional.
Let's get to this.
California sucks. I'm sorry. I hate
Yeah.
California.
I love
Sure.
California.
let the
I
record-
left California and I was so sad.
I
Never
love
leave California.
I
I'm
love
dying there.
California. I hate its governance. It's that simple, and that's what most people are agreeing
Yeah,
with.
beautiful state. Beautiful state. Ugh.
I mean, I'm from Nevada, so I
Beautiful
naturally
state.
hate California, like just on like an ethnic
We're
level.
okay, we're gonna move off California. California, we can have a conversation and a panel on why
Another panel, another
California
time.
sucks or why California is awesome.
I'll
another
be
day.
there.
Let's go back to the Democrats and let's go back to the politics at play, right? There's been a conversation. I think we've kind of moved away from it about working class values. The working class, at least more and more, is moving away from the Dems and to the Republicans. Why? Why is this happening? Why do we?
I think this is because honestly, in American society, the American working class has gotten so prosperous that they're switching to social issues and cultural identification being their principal concern instead of economic concerns. I mean, I'm not saying that this is like a complete thing, but I think, for example, we see that a lot of the union members voted Trump, even though Trump is a very explicitly anti-union guy, and Biden bailed out like the Teamsters union during his presidency. The reason that they did that is because blue collars are part of the cultural group that votes Republicans, not because it's rationally good for them and they're in making money, to be honest with you. And I just think that they're at that point where they can do that. They can afford those kinds of things.
So it's vibes and optics.
I mean, yeah, I think it's like I think it's principally vibes and optics. I think that's been taking off ever since social media has been like really going at it. I think that's been a big change.
No, 100% correct. Look at the polling on the economy as soon as Trump wins the election and how it immediately flips, even though literally nothing has changed. It's just because of it's just vibes. It's just I think it's doing better now. And it wasn't the economy will get better. It's the current economy.
So are Americans stupid?
Democrats also.
No, that's not
Democrats
what it is.
also.
I don't think Americans are
extremely
stupid. I just think
concerned
they have
about
different priorities.
inflation all of a sudden, but okay.
I love every American, and they're stupid.
Hold on.
Well, no. To Charlie's point about Americans being like, and the vibes and optics, that you're 100% correct, because perception is what sells. People's perception is basically what is going to push somebody into one camp or the other. So when we're talking about the vibes and optics game, if Trump doesn't deliver, and according to a lot of people, he's not going to. Guess what? Republicans are going to lose. They're going to get creamed in the midterms. However, if things do seem to have a upwards trajectory as far as the economy is concerned, as far as international relations or the border control, if those things seem to resonate in the positive, people, again, are going to vote in that direction. I mean, that's why we have ebb and flows in the first place. Republicans are in power, they suck, things get bad, and then it flips to the right. And then the right are in power, the left is in power, it sucks, they flip back to, the pendulum swings. So it just depends on the actual things people will observe, whether or not they know the reasons why.
That's some samsara level shit, man.
I want to bring up
depressing shit.
This might pivot, and this was like kind of the whole thing of the panel. I mean, I know this started off as what are the Democrats doing wrong, but this is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, which is like we're focused so hard on these like niche thing, not niche, but like the minutia between one way of doing a policy and the other way of doing a policy. And meanwhile, the current administration is like torpedoing all of their credibility and proving every single person right who's ever said anything bad about them, about how incompetent and evil they are, and the media won't focus on it nearly as much as they should, and that's kind of, I think, the biggest issue. Is it doesn't matter how much of a fuck up they are, they can leak all this data, they can torpedo the economy, they can completely violate the First Amendment and deport like legally residents.
When did the economy torpedo?
Well, okay, hold on. What do you mean by torpedo? What do I mean by torpedo? What do you think I mean?
You just said the economy torpedo. Can you please explain how the economy has torpedoed under the month and a half under Trump so far?
You can look at like all of the index funds that are completely collapsing.
Has completely back up in the past week. Egg prices are
completely back up.
Wow. This guy, I want to live in this.
Yeah, I want to. Can I come? Can I put my portfolio in your stock market, buddy? Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I don't know anything about stocks, but I think we could just look at it online.
Yeah, sure.
No, we could do a cursory Google search and show that we're not recovered.
It's
but
easy to look up. In the past month, the Dow Jones is down 978 points.
Ooh, that's 4%. Nice.
4%.
2.25%.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Well, I'm not looking from year to date. If I look from year to date.
Well, back to what my point was, that things are not particularly good right now, and we're doing a lot of.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I cut you off. My bad.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people are talking. Go ahead. Finish.
I was just gonna say that 2 point what? It was 2.5 or 2.2.
In the last month, 2.25%.
2.25. Okay, that's why I was getting confused. 2.25% in 1 month. Yeah, that's a pretty significant drop. If that kept continuing, you would have a much smaller economy than when you started with. But also, that's not factoring in all the potential growth that's been destroyed by the sheer instability of the Trump administration plus tariffs. You got to think of how much higher it theoretically could be. GDP growth could be at 3%, and now it's going to be in the negative, right? That's a lot. That's a big difference.
You're just trying to claim that the economy is down the shitter a month and a half in, and if you know a basic understanding of economics, trying to project that even 6 months out is absolutely absurd.
That's fair. I can't say for sure where it'll be in 6 months. I'm not even going to deny that.
I can't say for sure, but if it continues at this pace, I think I could be pretty damn confident that it'll be in the shitter, and your grandma will be begging on the street.
He might stop flip-flopping on the tariffs.
Is 2% up, so.
Oh, well, that's good then, right? We can now predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But my overall point was, Wick, that there are so much fuck up and fuckery happening right now that is not being just hammered into the ground, like you said, and that is what is making the Democrats lose. The reason you're seeing these turnout crowds for Bernie and AOC is not because, they have good policies, in my opinion, but I don't even know if these policies polled well with most Americans. I mean, Bernie did not win the primary, and we can talk about conspiracies and all that, but I think overall, most people were a little skeptical of how left-wing he was, and yet the reason he draws these crowds is because he's like, hey, look at this fuckery. This is bullshit. These people are stealing from us. They are dismantling like the infrastructure that keeps us safe. They're destroying our soft power. Like, this is bad. We need to do something about it. And Chuck Schumer's like, oh, twiddly-dee, we're going to do a couple, fights in court. But as soon as they get 40% polling for approval rating, that's when we'll really go hard. Like, let's just do pretty much nothing till then. Like, no one, that's fucking feckless. No one cares. We want someone who's going to call out their bullshit. And that's what needs to happen right now. But if we spend all this time like, well, oh, should we appeal to this union or should we appeal to this thing? It's like, no, we should be hammering in how fucking bad things are for people because of what the Trump administration is doing right now.
Yeah, I think the main reason people love Bernie is because he's such a goddamn fighter, and also because he's like fairly normal-ish. One of the biggest problems that the Dems have is that they have a really hard time projecting relatability. Yeah, exactly. Like Gavin Newsom is
even the Republicans think he's genuine.
No, Newsom is not, right? And this is a problem.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I'll give you this. I'll give the Trump voters this. Trump's genuine. He doesn't like fucking hide who he is, right? He's
genuine in a sense.
You know what you're gonna get.
He's not honest. He's not honest. It's different, right? But he is genuine.
People
right?
do think that he's messy.
I don't think any politician's honest, but
he doesn't pull punches.
About Bernie Sanders, is that okay? I want to kind of jump on that.
Okay.
So you mentioned something about Bernie Sanders being a fighter. He's got a spine, and he is very bombastic. You ever see him talk? He gets fired up. But there was a particular clip that was going around. I don't remember the exact year about him giving up his podium. I don't remember if it was BLM.
It was two BLM protesters that wanted to speak.
So that to me right there, if instead of saying, well, no, you've got grievances, we're going to address them, but it's my turn to talk and I'm going to talk and tell you how. He doesn't. He stands back with his head down because he had to play into the identity politics that the left and Democrats, majority speaking, are been putting forward. And that was, it sucks because
I promise,
to be fair, there was like international protest at the time. It was kind of a,
yes,
and
those international protests.
To be honest, I would trust Bernie's instincts on that because of his history.
He knew the optics.
War protests,
of an old white man telling some black women to shut up.
The optics played to people who already agree with that. Anybody who might have been in the center or might have been vibing with what he was saying or kind of leaning in that camp.
A single person? No, you don't think a single independent said, "Hey, wow, that guy."
Anyone? Like, you're right. Not.
I'm sorry. I know this is anecdotal,
but most independents don't vibe. Most independents do not. They just don't like the identity politics. They don't.
When a black woman is speaking, sit your white ass down.
Yeah, hold on. Does anyone think identity politics is gonna win us the day going forward?
No, absolutely not.
No.
And I have significant issues with the ways in which
but
I think identity politics have been weaponized in a very nefarious fashion.
Can you elaborate? Can you be specific?
Have you seen that comic of it's like a bunch of like people in Syria and there's an American plane dropping bombs on them and they go, oh no, wait, it's okay, a woman's doing it this time.
Or has a trans flag on it,
Yeah, my issue with it is someone, I think it was J-Mac, brought up rainbow capitalism. I do have I take a lot of issue with I suppose the illusion of change, but no real change in circumstance. Because I would say that, I don't want to talk too much about like the protests in 2020, but I think that nothing really happened. A lot more police stations or police forces got more funding after that, but no real change was made.
Billions of dollars in private property damage, but nothing happened. Okay.
No, nothing.
No,
material
change.
Yeah, she's talking about change, like policy changes.
Didn't police body cams kind of come out of that movement, or was that a little earlier?
No, they had body cams being pushed before that.
But like
they pushed it a little, but not like it was not.
Well, if anything, ACAB hurt.
They had body cams was one of the reasons we had some of the protests and the riots. And
I just thought it got better adoption.
ACAB hurt the justice reform, if anything, because it really started. It did, yeah. Because like I said earlier, I'm independent, so there's things that I have that are more left wing. Justice reform was a big one, especially in my early voting days. That was really pushed me in the leftward quadrant, as far as because I'm more libertarian minded. I think that a citizen's rights to a fair trial, like you said earlier, Wick. You have due process. All those are very important things, and the right now is basically kind of sweeping that conveniently in the aspect of deportations and illegal immigrants. So I think they're able to kind of message it away of like, well, they're not American citizens or whatever. But
Yeah.
when it came to the ACAB movement, they did so much and you can say it was a vocal minority or whatever, but the fact is they were vocal and they were
Mhm.
prominent. And people see that. Normal, average people see that.
Yeah.
And it turns them off.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before. I think the defund the police, I think the trans issues, these are things that if you pick the worst parts of either of these things and you blow them up in the media, which is a very good strategy,
Yeah.
as Shade said, this polls very well with independents because they see, well, get rid of the police. How do we enforce laws? That's ridiculous. I'm not going to vote for anyone who even remotely supports that. Like, yeah, I agree with you. That's why we should not be promoting that sort of messaging specifically.
Yeah, you heard it. He
Well,
agrees. I win.
I keep asking this, and I'm not getting too many answers. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm retarded. Maybe I don't know listen really good. It's
Possible.
Hey, I said every American
Oh.
was. We all are. We all on this glorious
Okay.
day.
But what are the policies Democrats need to run on?
Okay, Wick, what
I have a
Shenandoah and the
list.
Soy Pill have...
Healthcare. I'm serious.
Hold on.
Healthcare.
Yeah,
hold
you've
on.
given me the only answer. Charlie, you've given me the only answer. Healthcare. That's fair. What healthcare in what way though? Universal healthcare?
Yeah, universal single payer healthcare.
Okay.
To completely cut out health insurance companies. If we want to talk about government waste, my God, subsidizing health insurance companies is actually far more expensive than just funding healthcare. And again, you could go after like the. I think Japan has this model where. What did you say?
Oh, I was saying, sorry, that might just be out of the scope of this debate. Not trying to shut you down.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
We're not going to debate healthcare, but like the policy
okay.
position
My bad.
of universal healthcare. Okay, does anyone? What else? Is that it? Or
I got
was that
you.
curious
I got
passive?
you.
That was just
No,
off
this-
the top of my head.
It's like fighting
No,
for
I-
living
I-
wages, like raising standard of living, building more housing, child tax credits, bringing like necessary industries back, such as like the chips thing. Like these are good
Yeah.
policies. These are like what Biden did, and they're popular. I don't know if that's what you said, but they were popular policies. But they just don't hammer them in. I think the reason we're not talking about policies much, Wick, is because, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how vague and stupid your policy is, because if you don't hammer in that it's the most important thing in the world, no one's going to give a shit. So I could have the best policy in the world. If I have bad media training and I don't describe it and say some nice catchy phrase to Americans, they won't care that I'm making their lives materially better.
But Soy Pill, you just said that the strategy going forward needs to be go aggressive anti-Trump, which is essentially doubling down on
Not
the
exclusively,
entire
but
strategy
yes.
over the past 4 years. Which
Aggressively
has
anti-Trump
effectively
has been so limp-wristed, where it's like,
prosecuted
this guy's that's not a media training thing. That's a, hey, this guy actually did crimes and
the
we should
immediate
go
impact
after
was
it.
prosecution.
No, I'm saying that the media did not focus on what was
Just one more
specifically went
article,
right,
bro.
and I know
Just
that
one
because
more article on how
exactly,
Trump's
yeah.
fascist.
Go
Just
ask
one
like
more article,
Right.
bro. We'll
Just
get
one
him
more
this
article.
time.
Go
That'll do
ask the average Democratic voter, why does Trump have a felony? And none of them will be able to fucking tell you. They're like, oh, because he fucked a porn star. Oh, because they don't fucking know, because the media doesn't describe it in a way that's actually resonating. You should be like, hey, Trump lied, people died. That's the stupid dumb phrase they said about Hillary Clinton and Benghazi, but that works. And if you do that and you hammer that in, if you actually give a palatable, parsable message to Democratic voters, they'll vote for you instead of, well, I don't know, it's kind of this weird thing, and I don't know why there are 34 felonies,
hate to
and he
interrupt,
got impeached once or twice. I don't remember. Go ahead.
A housekeeping thing. J-Mac does have to leave us a little early, so I want to give him a chance to have closing thoughts and shout himself out. So I want to give him that space. We got another 30 minutes in us, gang, so hold on tight. But J-Mac does have to leave early. J-Mac, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. It's about to get a lot quieter too because I won't be here. But just to say, I appreciate all you guys and having the conversation. I honestly believe the best way to make both the right and left better is to have conversation with dissenting opinions. I mean, earlier we talked about politicians on the left getting on these shows and talking to people. I mean, you're not going to really expose yourself to the opposing side, because the opposing side's not left versus right to me. There is a huge bridge in between full of people who have a foot in both areas. And that's where I include myself. When people ask me, are you Republican or Democrat? I say, no, I'm independent. I've always been an independent. And so when it comes to the policies being presented to me, that's kind of how I vote. Now, obviously, everyone's different. We talked about how vibes and optics typically are what drive most people. And I do think there's a lot of truth to that, but I don't necessarily think that truth means people are stupid or uneducated or whatever the reason. The thing is, people are going to vote for the policies they feel impact them the most and the most directly. If you have kids, it's going to be things that impact kids. If you have a business, it's going to be business related policies and regulations. That's how people typically vote, because people don't have the time to read the 600-page bill or go through a person's entire history. They're just going to go by what news sources they trust and what pundits they trust, or just their friends and the things that they've been voting on their entire life. So just kind of in closing, I think that the Democrats do have a major messaging problem. I think primarily that's where it lies. Whether they're niche, whether they're not important, it does seem there's a lot of these kind of red meat that they have in their hands, and even if they're not dangling it out, doesn't matter. A dog's going to smell it, and the Republicans smell it, and they're going to go after it every single time. To me, it's like, well, then just toss the red meat and don't even have it in your hands in the first place. That seems like the overall kind of winning strategy as far as the Democrats' position and their messaging goes.
Okay, well, thank you, J-Mac.
Oh, is he
Is
leaving
J-Mac,
right
I
now?
got to
leaving?
take off. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
J-Mac, thank you for joining us.
Say all the bad things. Say all the bad things after.
No, I want to say I think I saw on Twitter that you play Magic the Gathering, so I think we'd get along. Although I saw you also have a Sulfum deck with Monocrypt in it, which makes you an objectively ontologically evil person. So, but yeah, no, we should hang out sometime.
At least I don't run infect, right?
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
My wife wouldn't play with me anymore when I did. So.
Okay, J-Mac, always a pleasure. We'll see you later. Buddy.
Likewise.
See
Love you
ya.
guys. Take care.
Bye.
Since he's going,
Let's
I will
bully
step
Shade.
in for him, right? No, I have
Here to
some
take it.
issues that you guys might have some issues with, so I will play J-Mac.
Let's bully Wick.
I do have a. Can I jump off of what J Mac said a little bit? Because I do get what he means by, if the Republicans aren't jumping on the meat in your hands, just throw the meat. But I also think that, and I'm gonna speak as a fruitcake myself. I don't like the idea of the Democratic Party kind of abandoning the LGBT, because I think we're at a point now, kind of like a reactionary swing back in LGBT rights, where the bar is going to be moved constantly, and I think we're already seeing that a little bit, where it goes from like, well, just don't have trans women in sports to, well, like, it's weird that, like, why are they legally allowed to not be the gender that they were assigned at birth, and now it's, I feel like
They're talking about getting rid of Obergefell for sure. I mean,
yeah, and that's being talked about, and so I have a lot of anxiety about that, because, like, well, I'm not gonna fuck with a party that's going to get rid of my rights and the rights of people I care about. And I think that there are a lot of straight people who will probably feel the same and won't be, I think it looks almost weak to
Right, Charlie, but
concede too much. It looks weak.
But if the Democrats were to abandon heavy emphasis on the LGBT topic,
But their
would
emphasis
you
isn't even
hold
heavy.
on? Would you then be inclined to vote Republican?
No, I just wouldn't vote.
Exactly, right? So it proves that if the Democrats put in less emphasis on the LGBT, particularly the transgender issue, which was a catalyst for this election, if they abandon that, it's not going to really impact their voter base. The issue is, how do we get more voters within our consortium? And you do that by appealing to more centrist positions.
wait, she just
I
said
don't
she
think
wouldn't
that, but they
vote.
tried
That would clearly
They
impact their voter
tried
base.
that. And they tried
No,
to
no, no,
appeal
no,
to
no,
more
no.
centrist people. This Kamala did, Harris
They-
did. That was like towards the
They-
end.
Okay,
it was,
but
right. They
hold on,
tried it
just
with
real
Kamala.
quick,
They
Shade,
tried it with
Shade,
Kamala.
just real quick, just Shade, because I want to talk to this, because I think, Charlie, this line that, though they tried to, they may have tried, but they tried in a way that 20-year-old college kids who have tacked on to the campaign thought would appeal to centrists. It showed a lack of connection to what actual moderates, center-left, center-right folks, centrist folks actually want to hear about and actually care about. It's they took a caricature that they had in their heads, and they appealed to that caricature, and they didn't realize that that was just a caricature. They had made up a person, made up a guy to try to appeal to, and that guy may have existed in onesies and twosies, but the broad portion of the moderates just was not.
Can you be more specific? I'm actually very confused what you're saying. You're saying there are 20-year-old like electoral advisors that invented a man
the
to
interns
attack
and shit like that. The
I
ones
thought it
who
was
were,
Clinton's. They took on Clinton's team, right?
okay. There's a few different factors.
It's a pretty big coalition.
Okay.
Right? There's a lot of them, but one of the problems that again, having talked to people who have worked on campaigns, right? Who have worked with electoral canvassing, campaigning, messaging, etc. They tend to be young, affluent, college-educated, ranging from about 20 to 30 years old. Okay? Yes, some of them were grabbed on from the Clinton campaign. That's true. But the rank and files, right? The people making a lot of the advisements are young.
Kamala is brat. That's what you're talking about.
That too, right?
That worked.
Too.
Okay. I feel that worked. I thought that was hilarious. I loved it.
You're not a woman,
it worked on me.
Unless there's something you're not telling us.
The choir loved it. 21 and 30? The choir loved it. The choir loved it. It was great for the choir, and that there's a place for that. I'm not saying that there's no place for that. You gotta preach to the choir once in a while. You gotta gin up the bass, etc.
Well, I hated Harris, but so that kind of made me warm to her slightly, which I know I was just calling people who optics only are stupid. But I was like, Kamala's brat, whatever.
Yeah,
that is kind of what I'm saying, right? You get a good slogan in there, and suddenly you've energized a base, and you've changed nothing about your policy.
I still think we should have abandoned the weird
just
thing.
real quick, if I may finish my point here, and I'm sorry I'm being a little long-winded here. I'll try to be a little more concise. But one of the gentlemen I'm having on tomorrow, right? We're going to be talking about the same subject. Is a man by the name of Tracing Woodgrains. He's a big guy on Twitter, okay? And he's pretty centrist. He's pretty moderate. And I talked to him right after the election about this too. And he made a whole essay about he was a centrist. He is a centrist. He's a furry who worked for the Bar Pod Report, right? Like he's just this crazy guy. He's a really nice guy. But he has very kind of right-leaning views, some left-leaning views.
Did you say he was a furry?
Trump. He didn't like Trump.
You said he was a furry?
Yes.
He's a furry and he's a centrist?
Yes.
How are you a furry and not oppose the party that wants to throw you in a fucking camp?
There's a lot of Nazi furries.
I know.
Yeah, there are.
I know, but why? Like how? Okay, well, I'll super chat him tomorrow.
I can't pretend to answer this question. I have no idea. But
valid question.
He said, right, and he said publicly, right, that all the messaging that was going towards centrists, the messaging that they were trying to appeal to the moderates with, felt false. It rang hollow. It felt like it was generated by a machine, right? A machine that turned out what they thought a centrists would like. And I've heard this from quite a few people, right? So when we talk about appealing to centrists, you can do that poorly or you can do that well. I think the Kamala campaign did it poorly. And I also talked about this earlier with the Newsom and with Bernie and with Trump. The reason Newsom sucks, Bernie doesn't, and Trump doesn't, is because Bernie and Trump have followings because they're genuine. Okay? We need more genuine politicians. We don't have that in the Democratic Party, and that sucks.
That sounds like a messaging thing.
Yeah, it's just, I agree, you're agreeing with what we've been saying the whole time, which is it really doesn't matter nearly as much as the policy is how much the voter thinks they're being genuine, and whether or not, if they have a good slogan that they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's like, Brat, that's the album I listen to. That's like a thing I know, right? Like, it works. It just works. And so, like, Bernie has, like, not me, us, which is, like, a very good slogan. And then Kamala came out with what? Like, we will not go back,
or
some lame fuck. Yeah, like, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? So,
I mean, honestly, I think Bernie could just say that like every man is going to be turned homosexual in my regime, and he'd probably poll better just because he's like authentic. Like that's actually like I genuinely think that's all it takes, man. He can do it.
I've literally made a joke about that.
I'm not saying it's literally all media. Like policy does have an impact. We're just saying that like because of the media environment, it has become like a greater and greater share of optics because, frankly, people just. Like it's hard to get good information these days, and there's like social media does create media bubbles in ways that previous media kind of doesn't.
Okay, $5 from I'll get to some of these super chats to let you guys respond. $5 from Infallible Foul to say Trump won, and not a single time did he make an appeal to the center. Stop being a fool. Don't take advice from people who want you to lose. So first of all, Trump ran far away from the extremists in his party on abortion, right? A lot of the people on his party were pushing for, we just need to make abortion illegal, and he ran from that. So to talk about him not pushing to the center, right, or not like...
it's relative, Wick. They're asking the Democrats to go center, and he's going slightly left of right, which is still very right. He's not appealing to the centrists.
The position that the country is in is center. It's center-rightish, actually.
Right now, the people in power, or the average voter?
Just the electorate.
Average voter, absolutely.
Is center rightist? Yeah, okay.
Well, it's center, and we can debate whether it's more center left or center right, but it's very moderate. It's very center.
Actually,
It's
yeah,
where
I
the
do
election
agree with you,
is
Wick. I saw a poll the other day that basically said that like Americans thought that Kamala was actually closer to the center, but they were just feeling a little bit extra center right this election. So on a relative scale, they were closer to Trump, despite like they actually believed that Kamala was closer to the center than Trump was. I could send it to you. I actually found it the other day.
Something we haven't talked about yet is kind of the personnel issue that the Democrat Party has. My hypothesis is that if the Democrats put forward somebody in 2024 on the same exact platform as Kamala Harris, without the kind of disease baggage and association that Kamala Harris had to the Biden administration, the race would have been a lot tighter. The problem with, and Wick alluded to this, is this authenticity program. And sure, you have Bernie Sanders, he's going to be 86 in 4 years. Is he going to be kind of the same Bernie Sanders as we've seen today? Maybe, I don't know. Trump is old, right? I don't think there's any denying that. But then you look at the rest of the roster and you think, who can I put forward that isn't, again, associated with this kind of cancerous baggage that has been associated with the Biden and Clinton administrations or campaigns? And that's where I really struggle. Like, where are you guys going to find these people? And are there any people from your point of view that could really pursue that and bring the Democratic Party back to relevancy? I'm not convinced there's anyone.
Well, the reason I said I don't know earlier is because all it takes is one viral clip of a senator, like maybe not Al Green exactly, but going up and saying, "Hey, dipshit, like you're stupid, this is wrong," and like everyone's like, "Holy crap, that's what I've been thinking for 3 years. Why didn't anyone say that?" Like
Jasmine Crockett's been doing that. AOC's been doing that.
Yeah, and it's actually pulling really, really well with the Democrats.
Yeah,
although I think
rising through the ranks.
It's pulling well. You just lost a popular vote. What are you talking about?
With the Democrats, it's polling well, and it's happened after the election.
It doesn't matter. You have to appeal to the general American public.
I think the general American public sees someone
losing.
We just said
you think that's losing
as a public, didn't we?
Yeah, but why are you center right? You're voting center right, or because the messaging at the time is, oh, this specific progressive policy is bad, therefore I'm against that, therefore I'm center right, right? Like, are these people at their core center right people, or do they think that the left and what embodies the left is trans women in sports? And then they're like, well, I'm not that, so I must be center right. Like, I kind of reject this notion that a majority of
it's economy and immigration. We know that from the exit polls.
Well, I showed you that wasn't true, especially for the people that voted for Kamala. So.
Especially for the people who voted for Kamala, exactly. And she lost.
Yeah, by a very slim margin. Oh, a monumental margin, excuse me. But yeah.
Okay. Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Let me read some more of these super chats. $2 from Tesla Johnson to say free Luigi.
Yeah, that's another one. I think if someone said, if Tim Walz said that, he'd win the election.
Because that is it. And that's what I think that truly. I'll be very careful. I'll be very careful in the way that I phrase this.
Oh, God.
Every single working class person that I have talked to about this, except for one, that was my grandpa, everyone said, yeah, free Luigi, which demonstrates that there is a great possibility here for,
that goes back to your earlier point.
Working class solidarity.
And about healthcare, though, right? Because all of those people have had some big fucking issue with the private healthcare thing, and you don't have to go up and pardon a murderer because Trump's doing it enough already. You just have to go up and say, "Hey, healthcare sucks right now. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna make it so you don't have these insane premiums." And I don't think Kamala talked about that at all. Maybe she said,
"At all."
Oh,
which was
we're gonna make it
failure.
Yeah, it's like these things matter to people, and like they don't push it at all. They and Wick, you go back to your question. What do they push on? Like just the generic working class. Hey, I'm gonna make your life better. And Trump did that amazingly. He did an amazing job. I'm going to make prices cheaper. It doesn't matter how he's going to do it. He's not doing it. It doesn't matter how he's going to fix the economy because he's not doing it. It matters that he's saying it and people believe he's going to say it. So if Democrats do that, and I think I have a much better chance of actually accomplishing it, they'll probably win. But let's see if they do it.
Well, Trump also had 3 years of a very good economy under him, so there's also precedent and historical context.
Yeah, but that was also like the thing about presidents is that like they do kind of, especially if they're only one term, they do kind of inherit the economy of the past president, and I think it takes a bit more than 4 years for things to change.
Oh, so wait, are you saying Trump's economy right now is Biden's fault?
Let's
I don't agree with that.
There was also the pandemic, which was like a huge global disaster.
Well, there are certain things, like the reason I think that the economic forecasts, at the very least, are poor, and sorry, New York Shade, I just disagree with you. The economic forecasts by all the reputable economists out there are poor. because of the tariffs specifically. Without the tariffs, it might be different, right? Other policies that he's made, it might be different, but the tariffs historically just
One thing an economy and investors like is complete uncertainty 2 weeks ahead of time.
that is also another problem. But
As a man who's run a small business, I love it. I love just not knowing what the fuck I'm gonna do the next day.
I do want to. I do got a little more super chats I want to read, and then I have a comment on the free Luigi stuff because I think if we run on that, we lose. But let's keep going. $5 from Artemis Fowl. The price of eggs and gas dropping is considered vibes now, apparently. $5 more from Joe the Mig. Newsom is a clown who got owned by CNN of all places after lying to Kirk about never using Latinx. Yeah, Democrats need to stop lying when they can get. Just don't do it. Okay, it's really bad.
No, just never apologize.
Politicians lie.
If Gavin Newsom tripled down, if Gavin Newsom tripled down on Latinx, he would win. If he said, "I'm going to say Latinx," I don't give a fuck. Latinx is cool now. I think unironically that pulls better than, oopsie doopsie, sorry Charlie Kirk, I didn't mean to use this cringe term.
Like, stick on the table and say I'm going to call him Latinx. I don't care.
No. Latinx pulls poorly among Hispanics.
I know. It's not. No. I agree with you. I'm saying that it doesn't matter how dumb the policy is. It matters how you address it with the vibes, and apparently a lot of the American electorate is really for a machismo man who never admits wrongdoing. So it doesn't. You just say nope, I never did that, or you just say it's actually cool, or it doesn't matter.
It goes back to the baggage though. Like Newsom is the epitome of having terrible baggage and bringing it into kind of like reformed. He voted. I mean, he won. It doesn't matter. We're arguing about what is wrong with the Democrat Party.
You're saying it. Wait. Well, hold on. Again, you're arguing with yourself now. Does it matter or not? Does the baggage of Trump not matter? Apparently, people don't care. So, because a Democrat, the reason. Hold on. I'll make this argument. Let me make. Yeah, exactly. I'll make this argument for you. Democrats actually give a shit when their politicians do things that are bad. Trump voters are coalescing around him because it's a fucking cult. So, name one bad thing about Trump that is not the bump stock ban.
The whole crypto scheme that he's engaged with. I think it's terrible.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. I retract my statement. I didn't think you would say that.
Okay. Charlie, you said you wanted to talk about something?
Masculinity. And mind you, this is not something that I am not sure how important this actually is to people, because this concern has been brought to be by a bunch of random men on the internet, and I don't think that men on Twitch really represent the general male population. So perhaps you all can inform me. I have been told that the Democrats seem gay and effeminate, and that men are not represented by the Democratic Party, and that there seems to be no place for straight white guys in the Democratic Party. Is that a thing?
Don't you want your panel dancer, man?
And mind you, did you guys see that there was some scandal? There's some young straight white guy that's like,
Harry Sisson.
Harry Sisson.
Yeah, he's getting canceled for having game, and we should free him too.
Everyone is saying, okay, well, first of all, he didn't do anything bad. He just is talking to a bunch of women, which is, I mean, what you would expect like a guy in his 20s to be doing, frankly. But
well, he didn't tell the other ones. Optics. They all felt exclusive. He was kind of being a little bit of a little fuckboy about it. But you know what?
Well,
nothing cancelable.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Women should have the right to be objectified.
He didn't do anything bad, though.
Is talking to multiple women at the same time and leading them on disrespecting or respecting?
I think he fucked them. He wasn't leading them on.
It's not nice, but it's not like this. I do that to women. I like women as a whole.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, that's right. You're gay.
If you're messaging, this is to the gentleman in my chat. The gentleman in my chat. This is a lesson you're gonna have to learn. If you're messaging a woman and you think you're the only one she's responding to, you're fucking
I agree.
Okay, right.
Everyone does.
Thank you for educating.
Everyone does that. It's like, especially when you're in your 20s. That's like a young people thing.
Right, but what is his messaging
good
then?
For Dems.
I think there's some pretty privilege in the chat right now. A lot of people, they get one message and they think it's the like, holy crap, I am the most specialist person ever. And I think that's what these women felt, because they're like, holy shit, a famous rich person is talking to me, and then they find out they're one of 12 or something, and it's like, oh wow, you really misled me. Although I'm sure
this is almost another topic. I don't want to get bogged down into this, but I do want to answer your question.
Well, it's about the masculinity.
If I may, yes, it's about masculinity. The problem that Democrats may or may not have with masculinity. I think that the problem is that in a lot of people's minds, rightly or wrongly, they do not feel represented, cared about, or welcome in the Democratic Party. Young men especially. They feel like their problems, when they bring them up, they were like, well, women have it worse, so you just need to sit down right now, right?
Yeah.
You just need to the LGBT stuff where those are the people who are really being oppressed. Right? While sit down while we don't really care about your issues or your
Wick, this is a
stuff.
perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? So you can say something that is objectively true, like LGBT people are more oppressed than white men. That's just objectively true, okay? They're dealing with more shit right now. They have more laws that are being leveraged against them. Like, they have it harder in general. Not, if you look at, specific case, maybe it's a little different. Maybe you can find, like, Pete Buttigieg is doing way better than a homeless white guy, right? But that's objectively true, but that's terrible messaging. That's terrible. Saying white privilege, it's terrible messaging.
Yes,
saying, hey, everyone should have healthcare. Hey, everyone should have a better standard of living. That's what you need to do. And that's what, Trump isn't like going out there. He's also not doing id poll, although people in his administration are. He's not saying, I'm going to make it better for white people. He's saying, hey, I'm going to make every American's life better. And that polls really fucking well. So yeah, people feel alienated by the left and being like, oh, sorry, white men need to sit down. Like right now women are speaking. It's like, look,
it's not a good look.
It's fucking cringe, and that's why we need to bully women again.
Just real quick, the reason this is funny to me is this is next week's topic. I'm currently going to try to start bringing up people next week to talk about specifically this masculinity and
bring me back on with base.
Is the male loneliness crisis real, right? And we're going to talk about that. So if any of you want to be on that, you can DM me, but that's a separate topic. But does that answer your question, Charlie, about people bringing up and whether we not have a masculinity crisis?
It sounds like it. Yes. Because I think there was a couple of years where we were really against guys being dudes. And I don't mean like boys' locker room talk, or I mean a little bit, but I don't mean like people should just be allowed to do awful and evil things.
Thank you for the Badger. Okay, continue, please, yeah.
But I do think that, yeah, there is kind of, yes, a sense where men don't really have wiggle room on the left for anything. Yeah. Wiggle room or grace.
It's a lot of emasculation.
True or not, it doesn't matter.
Right, look to Harry Sisson. I'll let you go in a second, Shenandoah. I see you, right? We're going to give you the mic in a second. But look at the reaction by the other influencers in the Democratic Party to Harry Sisson. They all disavowed him.
Wait, hold on, Wick. Do you know who did do that, really? Though? No, hold on. No, they didn't. They, when you say they, Wick, you're talking about what you were complaining about earlier, or the centrist guy your friend was complaining about, is these printed out, AI-generated, like Henry Sisson, Dean Withers, these Democratic mouthpieces that are clearly just taking the marching orders down. Yes, his peers, but specifically he is in this group of these white men for Harris, which was also a little cringe, right? Like, I did it unironically, but these people were really owning it. And that is the bad Democratic messaging. It was this, like, hey, wow, like, look how cool the Democratic, right. But when you're saying they disavowed, it's the same people that he was a part of are disavowing it. These same, like, people that don't resonate, they don't feel like real people.
The Democratic Party are putting at the front,
right?
And influencers.
Yes, exactly, yeah, and that's bad. These people are bad. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. I'm glad we agree.
That make sense?
Well, what I'm saying is, you can look at, like, these much cooler Democrats in this call who are like, yeah, that's fucking stupid. He should be able to talk to girls, right? And so, like, that's what needs to happen is we have to have, Dean Withers and Harry Sisson needs to be supplanted by a Shann or a Charlie, right, or a Wick, right? Like, this is ridiculous that they go up there and they're like, wow, Biden, he's so cool. I totally relate to him as a 20-year-old. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, no one, this isn't resonating with anyone. Like, you're fucking astroturfed. Like, those people need to disappear.
Yeah. I am really glad that because of this is like one silver lining of the Trump victory is that, like, because now Democrats are becoming the cultural underdog, it's going to be a lot easier to do that kind of messaging. Like, those kinds of people who canceled Mr. Henry or whatever, it's going to be so much easier to get those kinds of people out in in the coming cultural environment, just because, honestly, Democrats took such a shock to the system.
Getting laid has got to become left-wing coded. I'm sorry, we can't seed that crowd. We already seeded working out. We've already seeded guns. We cannot seed getting laid, all right?
The sex, drugs, and rock and roll party.
It has to come back.
Well, I'm not a big fan of drugs.
Well, that's fine.
Whatever, nerd.
No, you shut up.
Go to the right wing, nerd.
Also, wait, hang on, Soy Pill, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I just have to ask this.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, but ask your question.
Oh, I think you said no.
No, I don't know. You didn't ask a question.
That's gonna happen. I was like, when you said you're like a white dudes for Harris, I don't mean this to be rude, but do you have like some kind of like Mexican lighting on? Like what?
Mexican light? Oh no, no, and well, no, you
I
very.
don't mean that in
No,
a
hold on.
rude way.
Look, earlier. No. Go, no, you're right. You're 100% correct. No, let me talk. Earlier, I pointed. For everyone in the chat, early before the stream started, I pointed out that Shann kind of looks like an Aryan propaganda poster, and he has now confirmed this by pointing out that I do have a quarter Latino heritage, and he's very quick. He sniffed out that physiognomy just like that. All right, so you got me, and the closer you get to the border, the more yellow it gets. So right now it's a little orange. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, once you cross over, it's like the actual filter kicks in, and you're like, "Whoa!"
This is a good a showcase though of we have to stop being so goddamn prudish about jokes.
Yeah.
About race.
Yeah.
About sex. About religion.
No, that was intentional.
About all this.
I was modeling what a Democrat should be like. I was modeling it, and you are welcome for this teaching.
Thank you, Shann.
We
I
have to
appreciate
get
that.
slightly more edgy. We have to get edgy again. Like it's just Those
you
got
to be able to say retard without anyone being like, ew.
That's marginalizing.
I watched a talk by like a very like hardcore left Marxist professor at UC Irvine that was like, I've been saying retarded again, and I love it.
We're bringing it back.
We need to say that again.
We're bringing back retards.
I feel like it has to. It's where it needs to go.
Yeah, like controlling speech. That's what it is.
Well, okay. We shouldn't deport people for protesting or whatever. I agree.
Yeah, this is also like a really other lovely thing is like because like Republicans are going to really overextend themselves and they're going to do their own speech policing, which allows for Democrats to basically go back to civil liberties. I was going to say every single time you ask me like what should we be running on, I think one of the really big ticket items should be civil liberties. I think that's going to be a really big deal over the next 4 years, honestly. I think that's a good messaging thing. And that was always a popular Democrat messaging thing. And I think like a lot of Republicans are going to erode some of them. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like, oh my God, like specifically this hyper tiny minority of non-binary people.
Yeah, just the first one.
Yeah, exactly. It could just be like, hey, you know what? I don't want gay people to get sent to Guantanamo Bay. I think gay people are okay. Like maybe? I don't know. I think it's just an idea.
Has Trump deported any citizens? Just curious.
We don't know.
Just legal residents. He's,
so nobody knows.
Yeah. So you're speculating that he has.
And also I said Guantanamo Bay.
People with green cards have
legal residents are having their civil rights violated. That's what's happening right now.
So applicants that
no, legal residents, green card holders who are here permanently
to be a citizen.
No, it's okay.
If you have a green card, you're a permanent resident.
Right, and you're still applying for U.S. citizenship. You are not.
May or may not be.
So a green card is a document that allows a person to live and work in the United States permanently.
Okay. Are they a citizen?
So they're allowed to live and work in the U.S. permanently.
Right, but they're also allowed to be
have their civil rights
without a charge.
Violated.
It's a legal document that says you can be here and work here permanently.
Right, but
you think we should be allowed to do whatever the hell we want to non-citizens?
No, this is the law. Non-citizens can be detained without being charged. This is just a law. It is a fact. So
because
what
Trump
outside of
that law? Previously, that wasn't
no, that's not true. What outside of that law has been done by Trump?
That's not true. New York Shade. We have rulings on this, right? Supreme Court rulings.
Sure.
Green card holders, right, have civil rights. Not the same civil rights as a citizen, but they have entitlement to due process.
Yes.
And
they are protected.
Yeah, if what you were saying was if what Shade was saying was true, Trump would not have to be going through the courts trying to invoke the Illegal Alien Act. He wouldn't have to be trying to fight these things. He would just do it because it would be the precedent, but it's not.
The reason he has to invoke the the Alien Enemies Act is because the law normally prevents him from simply deporting people. Yes,
like
exactly.
It wasn't the status quo. He
Wait.
invoked the law and changed the rules. In the Biden administration, you couldn't just be like sent to El Salvador with no fucking trial. You at the very least had to have a hearing in front of an immigration judge.
Wait, but
at the very least,
can you confirm that they are not going to be receiving a hearing?
Some already haven't. Some already have just been like literally shipped off.
But will they?
There are some that are already in a different country who have had their civil rights violated for no reasons. They're in a different country.
Without charge.
They're in a different country.
Is there a law against that?
Yes. You can't just say, hey, where? Oh my God! Do you want me to cite you the specifics?
Or the Fifth Amendment, one of the fucking amendments.
Which one are you thinking of? No, you can't. Like
Average
there are
Republican
people that are being deported who have no charges against them, who are legal residents, who have like a tattoo, that have tattoos of like a soccer team or some shit, and it's like this is our immigration's way of identifying whether or not you're in Trento or Agua or whatever. And you could literally look the story up. Please go Google it.
Up,
right. And okay, so this is the whole optics thing again, because the way that this is interpreted by the general population is that you are also defending the actual criminals and gangbangers.
No, I'm defending the innocent person who's being deported.
Which is the vast majority of the people that are currently being
deported. Most Americans have trials.
Do you know the reason we have innocent until proven guilty? Our entire legal system, they're not. They're in El Salvador, and our entire fucking legal system is built on the idea that we should let 10 criminals go free if it means that we don't lock up one innocent person, and that's why we have the presumption of innocent. Oh my God, are we just gonna play this fucking pedantic game where we anyone in this country who is not a permanent citizen is somehow has zero civil rights? Is that what you're implicating or implying?
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay, then why the fuck do you keep saying it?
If you are suspected to be supporting a terrorist organization, it is very clear in the law that for non-citizens you are allowed to be detained without being charged.
Supporting he's talking about now the Khalil again, and supporting a terrorist organization as in I am protesting against Israel is not the same fucking thing, and you know it. That's so ridiculous.
No. He was protesting in support of Hamas, a deemed terrorist organization.
Can you show us
the United States of America?
Which is also
he was handing out flyers on
government of.
He was handing out flyers that were authorized by Hamas in association with the student body. That yes, he was.
The only thing, right, that people have said is that the people who he was associated with were doing that.
Do you think? Wait, can I try?
I need organization. It sure would be nice to have a trial to see if any of this is actually true. That would be.
He's getting a trial.
Shade.
No,
he's getting a trial.
Hold on. The only reason he's getting a trial is because his lawyer put in a habeas corpus
evidence of that?
declaration to get him that trial. They were trying to deport him without a trial.
Yeah, they were trying their damnedest, and it just became a national news story. So they're giving this one guy a trial to give people a bone, but other people might lose that.
But gang, it is
after a lot of effort.
Can I Shade one question before you wrap up, please? One question.
Okay, one question.
Shade, if do you think BLM is a terrorist organization, and if so, would someone, if I was a green card holder and I supported them, should I be deported without due process?
I think it should have been deemed a terrorist organization.
Okay, and so therefore, do you think I should have been deported if I said I think Black Lives Matter?
As long as you got due process, which all these people getting deported will be getting.
Okay,
and if you're a citizen, by the way,
you're a fucking ridiculous fascist who wants to deport people for supporting BLM. Holy shit!
I'm not sure if that's like a free speech thing, man. Like I mean,
no. I'm talking about.
Sorry, I think that like people have free speech. Wait.
Should a non-citizen be allowed to do or participate in billions of private property damage of Americans? And
is that what I said? Is that what I said? Did I say I support BLM versus I went and I rioted and I blew up a fucking Target? Those are obviously not the same fucking thing, dude.
That's a big gap,
those
man.
are very different things. Those are.
But is Trump deporting everybody that supports Palestine?
No.
Some green card holders. There was.
Yeah, he's doing it to some green card holders whose only crime. The only crime is their viewpoint, which again flies in the rights of their First Amendment. But
how
this
do you know
again,
that if the evidence hasn't come forward yet?
Because that's what the government has said.
Yeah, the White House has literally come out and said there's not an actual charge happening. Like you're arguing with the people that you're defending right now. It's fucking ridiculous. They don't need to be
charged. They're non-citizens.
Oh my god.
Yes, that you do.
But then you just said you believe in due process.
We have laws.
So, like,
I believe in due process for American citizens, and I believe.
So you don't believe in due process?
Could I? If I saw an illegal immigrant, I'm not talking a green card holder, an illegal immigrant. Would it be okay if I just cut off their fingers?
I was going to ask the same question. Great minds think alike.
Yeah. What rights do they have?
Yeah, like if they don't have a right to a trial, like can I just like fucking shoot them for fun?
They have the right to the First Amendment
Can we
like
hunt
Americans,
them?
but there are specific exceptions that are applicable to non-citizens. Like
Can we put them on an island, perhaps, and then like we all and me, my buddies, me and Soy Pill and our Aryan friend up here, can we all get our hunting rifles and go hunt them for sport?
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
We don't have to make these ridiculous hypotheticals. He said he would support people supporting Black Lives Matter who are not citizens getting deported, which is the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard in quite a long time. What's the nuance? What's the nuance?
If they were deemed a terrorist organization, which they are not.
Okay, let's say they did. Which he wanted to be. Trump wants to say, hey, BLM is a terrorist organization. So past that point, if they say I support BLM, which is what this guy's done, he said, I support committing some sort of violent act in further of your political movement.
Did BLM not do that?
What is BLM?
The Black Lives Organization.
Okay. Did the BLM, was there a coordinated effort from the organization to say go here and riot, or did a bunch of people riot in the same time that people protested against a specific thing? It's a bunch. It's like millions of people. Sure, whatever.
That was a slogan. That was a slogan long before.
Is the Trump campaign a terrorist organization because of January 6th? No, obviously not. I would never make that claim because that's ridiculous. Although those people are terrorists, I'm not going to say that the Trump party itself is terroristic. That's not the same thing. And so to say,
I would apply the same standard.
Okay, good. So BLM is not a terrorist organization?
No, I would say the violent January 6th insurrectionists or
they are terroristic.
Are terrorists. Yes.
So we should deport any of them who are non-citizens, and the ones who are citizens, or anyone who says who's a non-citizen in this country right now who said I support what happened on January 6th should be deported.
No, not I support. It's providing material
assistance.
What
did Khalil do?
Providing material assistance.
What material assistance did he promote?
He handed out flyers on behalf of the student body that was literally getting mandates from Hamas militants.
Okay, so if I retweet I love BLM, should I be deported if I'm a non-citizen?
No.
Why? I'm materially supporting them. I'm spreading their message.
No,
I'm retweeting their flyer.
Let's be more specific. Hold on.
I'm handing out a BLM flyer.
New York Shade. Hold on. Stop. New York Shade. Say I was a non-citizen, green card holder, non-citizen, right? And I retweet the group who protested at Columbia University campus. They say we should divest from Israel, and I retweet that. Should I be deported?
No, because that's not material support for Hamas.
I mean, it's literally defunding the country that is fighting Hamas, which is helping Hamas's war effort. So you could very easily make an argument that it's helping Hamas.
Yeah, but it's not practically.
It's literally practically helping Hamas. Because the opposing side of the war that is happening right now will have less money to have bombs to kill them. It is helping Hamas.
If you are a non-citizen and you are providing material support for a terrorist organization, you should be deported.
I'm not really seeing where I'm doing some research right now. I'm not really seeing like where he provided material support to Hamas. He was an intern for UNRWA at one point, but that's not
the real clean organization.
You ever volunteered for the Trump campaign?
Have I volunteered for the Trump? No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain.
To be honest, like, as I said again, it would be sure as hell nice if and he is getting a trial, thank God, because of the public pressure. But like, without that, can you imagine? Like, the facts of this case were not at all established. Nobody had any evidence that he was like giving money to Hamas or something. Also, why aren't pamphlets protected under the First Amendment? That's like a classic. Yeah, that's the press. I was gonna say that's like a classic.
There is an exception. You guys, there's an exception for non-citizens.
There is not.
The first,
yes, there is.
There is not.
It's free speech for everyone. I'm sorry.
Material support for a terrorist organization.
What material support?
If he was giving them money, I'd be like, get the guy out of here.
Yeah, if he was funding Hamas, I would agree with you.
An immigrant who came here legally,
hold on,
they can get up and say, I support getting rid of Israel, and nothing should happen to them. That's a First Amendment right.
If Mahmoud Khalil supported or was handing out flyers that supported the messaging of ISIS or Al Qaeda,
no mention of, by the way, I literally cannot find any mention.
Not
flyers. He didn't pass out any of the flyers supporting Hamas.
But even if he did, it was
for a student organization that literally espoused the political will of Hamas. Like, he's a representative.
What part of the political will of Hamas?
There's a huge difference between agreeing with them and
he was a representative, an agent for an organization.
This is so vague.
Yeah, if you're 2 degrees of separation away from Hamas, then you should definitely be deported. Apparently, so like you support an org that maybe vaguely supports some of their platforms.
You should get the fuck out of the country for supporting a terrorist organization.
I would gladly switch you in Khalil's places.
Okay,
okay. Fair. I'm
we
a
have
citizen, so
we
you can't.
have gone off the deep end.
Not that
There's
stopped
a lot
us.
to talk about. I love you all, but I don't want to hear. I'm not boss. I won't hold you hostage on my panel. Okay, right? So we won't do that today. And I want to give all of you.
But you will conscript us, you fascists.
I want to give all of you a chance to tell people who you are, where they can find you, and gang, I have links to all these lovely individuals, and thank you all for coming, including J Max, who's no longer with us. He didn't die or anything. He just. But anyway,
high stakes.
YouTube description. You can click on those links if you've enjoyed this show. Okay, if you've enjoyed, well, and I'm gonna give them all closing statements. Don't worry. But if you enjoyed this conversation, which I did, I thought it was great. You hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, you hit that follow button if you're watching on Twitch or on Kick or what have you. And yeah, we got more stuff coming up. Tomorrow, we're going to be having Claire Lemon, the founder of Quillette. We're going to have Tracing Woodgrains. We're going to have Renee DiResta, who wrote, what is her book? Invisible Rulers, The People Who Turn Lies into Reality. And it's an excellent book, right? You should all go check it out. We're going to have her on. We're going to have Not So Erudite. And we're going to have Eucharist, personal friend of mine. And we're going to be talking about the same subject, but from a more professional standpoint. This was the normies, and now we're going to have the professors and stuff like that tomorrow. So check it out, 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Tune on in. Let's start with Soy Pill, and we'll end with Charlie. Soy Pill? Closing thoughts.
Yeah, just to supplement what you just said, it's criminal how few subscribers you have, Wick. So everyone in my chat and everyone in Wick's chat better fucking subscribe, all right? Because I'm tired of not seeing him get what he deserves, which is lots more attention, especially for the people he has on. It actually makes me upset. Genuinely.
He just called me like nothing, like a little guy. Right?
No. It's the opposite. It's this dissonance, and me and Shann were talking about this, where it's like you have these like the most high profile people on, and somehow like the audience like of subscriptions just not there. It doesn't make sense, and it makes me mad at the audience for not subscribing. So that's my last little thing there. But yeah, look, the Democrats have been feckless and limp-wristed. Chuck Schumer is a coward who won't actually try to do anything. His plan right now is pretty much to do nothing. It pisses me off. I think we need a better message. I think we need to appeal to wider swaths of people. I think we don't need to go and focus on little niche things. That doesn't mean abandon LGBT people. Obviously not. Jesus Christ. It means don't get into the nitty gritty of whether or not we need to put they them pronouns in our LinkedIn profiles. It's, hey, how do we make these people's lives better? How do we make sure their lives are not being stripped of the rights that they deserve? And how do we make sure our civil rights aren't being violated so that more people resonate with a message that appeals to a mass of people? I think what you've heard from the right today was very indicative of what's going on, which is if we just focus on how the Democrats are ripping themselves apart, we don't have to talk about how big of a fuck up our administration is. So for the love of God, call these people out for the big fuck ups they're doing, for their violations of civil rights, for the illegal deportations, for trying to supplant the powers of Congress. This is ridiculous. It's fucking crazy. Let's get our people out there shouting this down. Thank you guys for joining, and I had a very good time talking to everyone.
No, always a pleasure, Soy Pill. You can check him out. I got a link to his stuff in my YouTube descriptions. Click on that. Shann and Doa, thank you for being here. I think you were wonderful guests, by the way. You did not fuck it up. So
I tried my best.
And he really clocked me perfectly. So
true.
I did. Yep. I know. I got that big old Aryan sniffer.
Closing thoughts.
I called it. Anyway. Fuck you, Soy Pill. I don't know how to follow that up. That was a really good summary of a really. That was like most of my points, pretty much. I guess I'll keep it simple for the sake of brevity, because who doesn't love a good brevity? My principal problem with the Democratic Party is that their messaging is absolutely fucked, and I would just love to see way more fighters in this Democratic Party. I don't want any more cuck Schumers. I want some goddamn warriors. That's what I want out of my Democratic Party. And yeah, they could go left or a little bit right on social issues. I don't even think that's going to matter. I think what's really going to define the Democratic Party in the next 4 years is if they capitulate or if they give it their goddamn all and fight till the end. So that's what I'm fucking praying for. Thanks for having me on. It was great. I had fun.
No, thank you for being here. Check him out. I got a link to his stuff in the YouTube description, so click on that link, give him a follow and all that. Appreciate you. New York Shade, please.
Yeah, no, thank you everybody for the time today. Really doubling down on Soy Pill's comments. Give Wick a follow. He's completely underappreciated in the space and has huge.
Oh, come on, you can suck my
dick
later. Come on, get to your closing.
All right, I'll see you in 5 minutes. But look, at the end of the day, the Democrats they have an authenticity problem, and they need to be able to actually sell policy. And what we saw in the last election is a policy framework that is completely misaligned with the general interest of the American people. So if they can fix both of those issues, they have a pathway back. But everything we've seen right now is them doubling down on everything that's really been failing them. And look, I think competition is a core benchmark of capitalism. Competition breeds excellence, and if we let Republicans get too unwieldy, there's going to be issues, and I'm happy to admit that. So it is in our best interest to have a strong strong and competitive Democratic Party, and it's my hope that Democrats are able to introspect and right-size rather than doubling down on everything that's gone wrong.
Okay, thank you for being here. I've linked to his socials and his channel in my YouTube description, and I really do appreciate your perspective, so thank you for being here. Last but certainly not least, first-time guest on my channel as well. Hopefully not last time. Hope we didn't throw her off completely and scare her off.
No, I had a blast. Thank you, Wick, for having me on. I'm always surprised when I'm invited to these things because I'm not sure if my internet presence necessarily aligns with debate panels, but I had so much fun. This was a lot of fun. I liked it. Would love to come back. Closing thoughts. I think that honestly, I feel like the Dems might not even have to do anything because I anticipate that the economy is gonna. So they could do nothing, but that means more fuck ups in the future. I agree with Shann and Andoa, Soy Pill, and NYC Shade. I think they need to double down. I think they need to fight. And yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Gang, her stuff is in my YouTube description. Click on it if you want. So we're gonna rate out Not So Erudite. So what you're gonna tell her is this is a hate raid. And tell her we'll see you tomorrow, but make it really weird, okay? Make it as weird as possible. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh no.
Everyone go type 1. Type 1 in the chat. Everyone type 1 in the chat when you go in.
No.
Okay. But anyway, I'll see you guys later. Wait, bye everyone.
Bye, Wick.
Bye.
Alrighty, that sure was a panel, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Let me turn on my webcam for you. Oh god. Oh, what a freeze frame. Gross. Alright, we're back. Cool. Let me get to your super chats. I actually thought that was really nice because I got to voice my opinions. I thought no one was stepping on each other's toes. I had a great time. So that was productive. Let's see if tomorrow is as good. I think we did a good job. I'm going to go through your super chats. I saw a couple of people become members. I'm so happy. My new video is doing really well. You guys are all being super kind to me. I am having the time of my life, and I'm going to keep doing it just for you guys. And I can read your chats now. So cool. Non-Fawn. Hey, I saw your chats. I think I even used one of your points, which was true. And thank you for that, Non-Fawn. $2. Do a Pisco interview. I should do a Pisco interview, especially for legal advice, because, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just Jewish. $5 from Albert. I saw your other super chat too. A lot of people are too smart to be pandered to. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, most of them are in the Democratic Independent Party. I agree with that 100%. Alley Cat, thank you for the $1.99. Shoopy, thank you for the $5. Love you, man. Currently playing MTG Arena while watching. Would love to see you do more live 1v1 debates. I don't do a lot of 1v1s. That's just because that's not what I'm getting into. I should, one thing I want to do is, like, for less high-profile people, like, people reach out to me now and they say, hey, like, debate me about this topic, and I want to, but I'm very scared because as my YouTube becomes my livelihood, I can't just get anyone on there if they say, one bad thing, and it's like, oh, crap, like, now I got demonetized, it sucks. Like, I want to have people that are a little more, like, well-known, so I kind of predict what's going on there, but I'll try to do something. I know we can have, like, mods vet them and that sort of thing. Albert Hunley, super chatted $5. Thank you so much. Trump disillusioned an entire country. Dems only managed to disillusion their entire party. Dems got to go bigger. I agree. Yeah, Dems they could be alienating so many more people, and they're really just stuck on the left. Albert, again, wow, thank you so much, Albert. As a veteran, $5, I'm particularly upset, thank you for your service, by how other veterans are cool with everything going on, since we are disproportionately affected by it. Yeah, they're gutting the VA, they're potentially going to send us into another war. This is really bad for both veterans and current active military people, and it's crazy. I mean, it's not insane, considering that, disproportionately, people in the military are right-wing, right? But I hope more of them wake up to how bad this is getting. So thank you for being on the right side. Albert Hunley, again, dude, Jesus, thank you so much. $10. The biggest issue is that Joe, the Democrat, is losing, but Joe, the businessman, is winning. It's the meme or the guy is crying, but underneath the mask, he's happy. Yeah, exactly. Like, the Democrats are doing well with their, portfolios. Well, not their portfolios, but they're getting out there like, we're winning. Look, and Chuck Schumer's going on his book tour. But it's like, look, like, great for you. Help us, right? Like, you're not us. You're not representing us, and that is kind of a big issue right now. Alley Cat again. Thank you, Alley Cat, for $4.99. Hello from ACLU, Texas. I loved your videos. You're doing great work. Thank you so much. I don't. What is ACLU? ACLUTX. What's that? The ACLU of Texas. Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. More people should donate to the ACLU who are fighting for the rights of people like Mahmoud Khalil, who is having his First Amendment rights violated, which he does have despite not being a, born here citizen. So, God, that was so silly. I mean, like I was literally saying, oh, we can deport people who have any sort of material support for BLM. First of all, as if it's like some sort of coherent organization, which it's not, although there is chapters of it, But oh my God, dude, like that guy is unironically like fascist. Like the right wing is getting so scary right now. And the worst part is he's probably like, he wasn't like screaming. He wasn't like mean. I'm sure if I had like an interesting, not online conversation with him, like he wouldn't be like some evil person, but like the stuff he's okay with is crazy. I saw some people became members. I'm trying to find this. Nicole, I saw your chats, Nicole. Thank you so much for becoming a bean. And someone else became a member. Albert Hunley. Oh my God, dude, you're just dropping it on me right now. Thank you so much, Albert. You're being a super help for becoming a member and giving me all these super chats. Guys, I mentioned super chats are very important for me right now for reasons. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's see what's going on in the chat right now. I work in manufacturing. Trump's admin is talking about shutting down NIST, and I've never had a job that didn't use NIST standards. Is that like OSHA? NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Why have I never heard of this? It's probably because all my engineering stuff was in Europe, and so we use like all these different, like similar standards, but different organizations, kind of like how America has the FAA, but Europe has the EASA, and it's like pretty much exactly the same thing. But that's insane. ACLU Texas RVX is the ACLU branch of Texas, the American Civil Liberties Union. Jewish Union Texas. No, is that what? We are working on a lot of great things. God, I hope so. And by great things, I hope you kind of mean like a very scary problems that need to be fixed right now. That panel was insane. Well, what's crazy is I'm being a little more mean in panels, and I'm not on purpose necessarily. It's just because like all the shit that is happening to people I care about right now, and these guys playing defense for it, like I just immediately get mad. It's like, holy shit, fuck you. Like you are letting people get like their rights trampled on. Like you're letting people in my family get fired for no fucking reason, and it's all because of these dumb, uninformed things. And I want to address the idea that I'm like, oh, Americans are stupid. Like I do think most people are uninformed. I don't know, stupid's a strong word, but you could use that. It's like, yeah, most people don't know things, and I say this as someone who now is like doing this like all the time. I still don't know a lot of stuff. All right, there's so much I don't know, and I still have a pretty good gauge of like who I should vote for and why and how that's going to affect the government. But so many people don't know so many different things, and it's easy to just say, well, this is reality. And I don't hold it against these people. And if you go look at the guy I shouted out, he briefly touches on this. It's Potts David G. He said like the MAGA cult. And it's like, yeah, like these people are victims, okay? Like, yeah, they're easier to manipulate for whatever reason. If they're not tuned in, maybe they're less intelligent, whatever. But I'm not mad at them specifically. I'm worried for them. I'm worried for the way that their influence can affect, or them getting influence can affect our country. And I think we need to pull them out of that. If I met any of these people in a one-on-one situation even, and you'll see this like after panels, I'll go into this panel, maybe we'll yell at each other, but as soon as the panel is over, if it like people leave, people drop out, it becomes a one-on-one setting, and we try to like make that bridge, it's a lot more calm. And I don't know if I can do that in a 4-person panel, and it plays a lot differently. The energy's way different. But man, I'm fucking pissed right now, guys. I'm sorry. Can we deport people who are brown and no one will kick up enough of a fuss about it for no matter? Yeah, that's essentially what he was saying, which is crazy. I was very unhappy listening to Beige Hat talk. I honestly think you may have conceded too often to him. I don't know what do you think it was like clip farming? I mean, I respected him for saying, I'm not blindly following Trump. Because it sounds like he's not. He said, hey, that crypto scam, that was bullshit. And like, he does enough of that stuff. People like him, they get turned off by it. It does happen both ways. It's a lot less likely for the Trump cult, but you look at like, what's his name? Andrew Mercado, who I spoke to recently. We were on that debate panel, and he's, full anti-Trump now. Great guy, does great streams. And he used to be pro-Trump, but the January 6th stuff happened, and he said, this is fucking insane. I'm not okay with this. Like, he woke up to that. And there's going to be enough of those things that are going to push people away. Their just lives are going to get materially worse, and that's not good. Maybe we can stop it before it has to get there, but we need to run on lowering the minimum alcohol and tobacco age. Really? I don't know if that would play so well. Max Sterner, I work in a clean room making super high-tech devices. Our company keeps shitting itself. Oh my God, the tariffs are fucking research and industry right now. Like, so many people are scared. And someone just shared with me this article, this French researcher who is going to come in and do work. I'm not like super well researched on this, but they like confiscated his phone and looked through his messages because he fucking like, said anti-Trump stuff. He's not even coming in to do political things per se. It's very scary what is happening right now. And thank God for people like the ACLU that are fighting back against it. Jesus Christ. Also, some more news. Just put out a new episode where they talk about, hey, what can you do as just the layman? Go watch that. That's a very good one. Hey man, really enjoy your stuff. Funny stuff. Thank you, Red Quill. The issue with they are victims is this is the real world. They do damage. Okay, right. Okay. Look, people in poverty are victims. For example, let's say you're in a redlined district that has been impoverished since the 50s because of segregation. I'm not going to look at a guy who, because of that, industry is stabbing someone because they're like, don't have the mental health they need, or because they're like trying to rob a store. I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's the victim there. He's causing material harm to someone. He is the criminal there. But I'm looking at the overarching problem of Trump supporters who our lives are being hurt, people who are farmers who are getting fucked by, these tariffs, people who are getting laid off from their government jobs. Like, these are people that are getting materially hurt because they were taken advantage of and influenced. They are causing harm to the country by having voted for Trump, but I'm not going to say they're terrible people for that, because I don't think they are. Ben Shapiro is a terrible person. He knows better, right? He understands the problem, and despite that, will go and fuck someone else over because he wants to make money, because he wants to promote an agenda. He's a terrible person. Those people, I think, no holds barred. Say whatever you want about them. So many Trump supporters, especially the ones I've talked to, are victims of misinformation, and yeah, they're causing harm, but I'm not going to say, oh, they're all innocent. Oh, poor boo-hoo them for voting for Trump. It's, hey, let's try to get these people informed. Let's try to bring them back over, and we need these people on our side because they ultimately have the same goals as us and are unfortunately a huge chunk of the voter base. Oh my God, another big bean. Thank you, Avius. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for becoming a member. Go Home Yank is low-key a banger. I genuinely think the worst problem in this country is the investment firms controlling the parties like Blackstone. I think you're thinking of BlackRock. It's a big problem. Money in politics is a big problem, despite what you might hear about, oh, well, they're not lobbying for a specific bill. People try to counter it that way. I mean, you look at what Elon Musk is doing right now. Elon Musk is saying, if you do not fall in line behind Trump, if you don't vote for our budget, I will primary you with millions of dollars. That money is so important in these smaller elections. We talk about media influence, being able to go into a small election and saying, hey, here's 50,000 TV ads that say this guy is a crazy, insane person. Don't vote for him. That's the millions of dollars buy that. The millions of dollars buy the rallies. The millions of dollars buy the appearances that are way more important in these local races for governor, for senator, for representative than it is for president. The money goes so much further, and that is bad. And we need to get money out of politics somehow. Get rid of super PACs and all that. Let's see. Albert, again, dude, Jesus. Albert, thank you so much for the $5. As someone who lives in the Deep South, it's indoctrination and hardcore propaganda. The info bubbles are very small. Yeah, I have a idea, and you guys can tell me this is stupid, but I was thinking about going into like Alabama, like moving to Alabama. One, because it's cheaper. Of course, I'd have to give up my California standard of living, and just making friends with people, like doing all the same content, but also having a series where I just go around and I just talk to people and try to like break through those bubbles. Obviously, this is going to be very small in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to talk to, a few dozen people, maybe 100 over the course of a few years, but just to show like, hey, people who live out here, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, I am a part of this machine that you so have been trained to hate, and I think we can be friends. I think we can go out shooting together. I think we can talk about how to make each other's lives better. It would be a pretty big endeavor for me, and I don't know how it would work, but it's almost like a fantasy of mine to do this, so we'll see. Any thoughts on the state Dems managing to win this Pennsylvania county? I have to look into like how this happened, Max Stirner. I assume it has part to do just with how much people are hurting right now, but oh, Jay Tanner. Yo, Soy Pill, you're wrong on the First Amendment stuff. There are technically still exceptions to the First Amendment that can be specifically used. See Debs versus US. Okay, so again, I didn't study up on this because I didn't think we'd be talking about it too in depth, but I'm trying to remember what Debs versus US is. I know this case. Debs convicted violating the espionage. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, there are parts of the First Amendment that, like, yeah, if you are, I mean, they've literally arrested foreign agents, even legal citizens that are acting on behalf of a foreign government for stuff like that, like what, Michael Flynn or whatever. Yeah, obviously there are exceptions to the First Amendment. It's not like you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can't support whoever the fuck you want. But what Khalil was doing, I think you'd have to make some insane argument to be able to justify what they're doing to him. I have to read more about it, though. Maybe if Nonfon gets his way, I'll talk to Pisco about it. Oh my God, more members. Connor Mason, I see your name in here all the time. Thank you so much for becoming a member. And CSLE Whister, thank you as well for becoming a member. I really appreciate it, guys. This helps me a lot. I see people who are genuinely evil and wants the things that are happening. Yeah, okay. There are people that want what's happening, all right? That's not good. And some of these people are not worth even speaking to because they are going to want you to be fucked over forever. Don't give them the time of day. Don't waste your breath. Go for people that are the people I'm talking about. The people that the 3% of people that got changed their vote because they said, oh, well, I don't think a transgender prisoner should get a surgery for free, right? Go talk to them and explain, like, hey, and this works so well. Anecdotes, right? Anecdotes are not data, but they do work on people. And you say, look, if Trump gets rid of the Department of Education, it could affect my disabled family member who is in school right now and has disabled aid from the DOE funding. If that goes away, he might not be able to have the speech therapy he needs. He might not be able to have the aid worker that helps him through his classes, that makes sure the teacher isn't over-encumbered. I think that might just be for weight, but that isn't burdened by one disabled kid, and so that everyone gets the same education. Like, that's the point of the DOE, is to make sure education is equal for everyone. You tell them that, and then you say, look, you can disagree with this transgender, prisoner surgery thing. I think it's just not a big deal. I think this is not nearly as material as what Trump is trying to do. That's how you reach out to these people. And if they reject those sorts of like empathetic arguments completely, fuck them. They're not worth your time. Those are the people that are like, I think we should, make it a white nationalist ethno state. Not worth talking about. Oh, Kinklemore, Avius? Awesome. Wow. The circle grows smaller. The world is getting smaller. Everyone knows each other. I've been reading articles. The GOP is scrambling to raise money for the 6th district. Oh, good. I hope they scramble and fail. I watched too much at this point not to just make that jump. Thank you so much, Connor. I really appreciate it. Like, when I'm grinding away, when I'm grinding the axe for these videos, and I'm like, who's this for? I go look at comments, and I know that people love watching my stuff. They change their mind. They're entertained. They said it helped them talk to their family. And I'm like, oh my God, like this... It actually unironically just like it makes my engine just start chugging and makes me I can't express how much I love helping people like in this sort of way, knowing that I can entertain and make the world a better place. It's great. Not to talk myself up too much. I don't think I'm like some altruistic fucking charity worker, but whoever I forgot the name, but the ACLU worker in here, God's work. Keep it up. Move to North Dakota. It gets as red as every single person you talk to is a Trump supporter. I could try to flip North Dakota. Actually, that's true. There's so few people, too. My work would go so much longer. Maybe I should go to North Dakota. What are your thoughts on the German elections? So I'm not like a very tuned in German election person. I lived there for 2 years. I understand the party system and the coalitions. AfD on the rise is scary as shit. Elon Musk putting his power and influence behind them is scary as shit. I think I can't remember the name of this channel. Let me look this up. I was going to suggest a video because I didn't finish watching it, so he might say some stuff I disagree with. But it was about the AfD like hiding their fascism. Crap, I can't find it. It's probably on like r/breadtube or something, but there's like a very good video like, hey, like if you want like an encompassing like idea of what is going on with the AfD and why they're fucking scary, go look at them. That guy's video, if you can find it. Sorry, I can't find it right now. But what I might do, especially if I do a video on Tesla, there's some protests happening on Saturday. I might do that. I will go into Elon Musk and his support of them, and I'll do all the deep dives and try to explain why him supporting the AfD is scary as shit. Don't shoot the cute bunnies or deer in Alabama. Oh no, I don't think I'd go hunting. Is there any 3 descriptors that can summarize the Democratic ethos for marketing purposes? I'm not quite sure what that means. Nice. Anything else? I'm not. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what your question is. You can say it again though, or try to Jonah Greenbaum try to like reword it. Not quite sure what you're asking me to say. Oh, like what words describe their marketing? It's just nice. Yeah, like they need to be like vicious and like consistent, I guess would be good words. Thank you for being fun to watch. You're welcome. I try. Take calls instead of moving there. I don't think it's time for leftist YouTubers to primary Dems. I don't know if I should run for office. You're not going to get through to these people in rural areas. That's just not true. I get through to like my family members in like rural Pennsylvania just by talking to them. And it's insane how easy it is when you have like that human connection. I really do think I can change those people's kind of minds. And that's not because I'm so good at it. It's just because once you sit down and you just have that conversation with someone who you already have a rapport with, or if you can like, this sounds like, subversion, but like you can like infiltrate them and be like, look, hey, me and you like the same stuff, or me and you have these same values. And then you start talking about politics. Like you really can get through to people like this. It's just as easily as they are swayed to the right, you can sway them to the left, unless it's a very niche issue. One of those things, or not niche, but a hard and fast, like subjective issue, like abortion is like, you're probably not, if that's their single issue thing. Look, if you believe life begins at conception, I can't say anything otherwise. Like then abortion's murder. I can't say that you should support it. So those are the things you're never going to win them on. That's why the Democrats need to go a little less hard on guns, or at least have some more common sense stuff by educating themselves, because those are some people's single issue policies. I can see the stress in your eyes. So here's a 2-minute break. Yeah, sorry guys, I didn't sleep well last night. What MTG deck do you run? I only play casually. I run the Dominus's from the Phyrexian pack, so Drivnod and Sulfim, but then I also play heads you win, tails I win, tails you lose. I really like coin flipping and dice rolling. Let's see. I got to go to a red state one day. It's going to be a culture shock. No, if you don't, I can already see in your profile picture that you appear to be a brown woman. I would not recommend it. I've seen it's still pretty bad in certain areas. Wait a minute, Kanklemore? Yeah, we talked about potentially doing a debate show. I don't really want to debate, I like debating. I don't want to dedicate my energy to that too much. And I think Wick's doing a really good job. So I'm just like, I'll just keep doing Wick stuff unless I have like a very specific vision and passion for doing that. But right now I'd rather be making more videos than managing a whole debate show. Any hints on the next vid topic? So there's a couple things. I've already started writing a script for the Freedom Tunes one, because everyone keeps asking for that. And I have a lot to say about him. But also there's a protest at the local Tesla. So I might do a very quick, or relatively quick, to my other stuff one on Tesla, why people are anti-Tesla, and kind of pushing back on this whole like, oh, I thought Democrats were pro-EV, like when it's so clearly not what the issue is, and kind of trying to get into the nitty-gritty specifics of why people hate Elon Musk, maybe even talking about having worked for him. But yeah, it's one of those two. If not the Tesla one, definitely the Freedom Tunes one. And then more to come. And definitely the workout video is coming, guys. It's coming in June-ish, because that's when I'll feel comfortable in my own body instead of lumbering around with my love handles because of my bulk. Tesla build. What are your thoughts about the Atlantic article where they called the admin's bluff? That was such a good tactic. Not releasing it all at once was so smart, because then they all lie about it for a day. Then you show they're all lying. That was such a good idea. I live in a red state. All of my coworkers and managers circle jerk to each other. Hey, if they're having a good time. But, just throwing a little, thing. Do you mean the guy three arrows? It's not 3 arrows. It was a smaller channel. Let me see if I can find it, guys. 1 second here. Because we're all going to talk about it. BreadTube? I think I saw it on my... Why is it not coming up if I go to r/BreadTube? BreadTube r/... Let's type AFD in the search bar. Come on, Reddit search. I know you can pull through. Here we go. Oh, got it. Sweet. Okay. The AfD's Nazi connections run deeper than you think. This is from a channel called BesD Marks, BESD Marks. I'll throw it into the description for the stream, so you guys can look it up. It's going to be under my socials. Actually, I'll put it on top of my socials. What do I call this? I'll just... Oh, won't let me... All right, I'll put it at the bottom. This is the AfD video. Yeah, go check that out, guys. Like, learn about the AfD. I will probably watch it all the way through and also do a bunch of actual research. Update stream info. What is this? Okay, cool. Update. No, yeah, I was not talking about 3 arrows. Unironically, AfD underperformed thanks to the close support. Yeah, because Germans are smarter on average, and they know that Elon Musk is fucking poison, which is why the Tesla sales are tanking. Thank God. The Tesla is violating so many labor rights in Germany. They do it here, but they do it way worse just by the fact that the labor right laws are better in Germany, and they're going to get fucked, and that makes me so happy. What do we got here? There's a post commenting on where they were pointing out that their cameras were on the Cybertruck. So I was like, the roof, so on the roof, and they called you deranged. Yeah, don't, guys, I'm never going to call for violence or vandalism just in case, right? Also, I don't know how helpful it is, and it's illegal to call for it, so try not to go on those rants too much. I think you were just good at it. Well, thank you, RVX. I mean, I'm not saying I'm bad at it, but I think a lot of people can do this sort of stuff. Liberty, equality, fraternity. I see what you're saying, Jonah. Yeah, like I said, like consistency, empathy. I don't know. I don't know if we need specific words. Jake and Bake. I like that name. I told my grandpa that Trump is working directly with BlackRock when it comes to Panama and Gaza, and he's been black-pilled ever since. Okay, yeah, that's what you got to do. Is if you know what they hate and you can associate it with Trump, that's one way to do it for sure. Hey, I'm actually Portuguese, so maybe I'll fit in with fellow Europeans. Yeah. Although if they think you're speaking Spanish, whew. Soy Pill profiling brown woman. Look, your icon, Nicole, is so tiny in my chat, so I can't, like, look, just, you gotta understand, you're this big right now, and I see a brown tint, and I see long hair. I just assumed. I apologize. Soy, what do you say to Pennsylvania people whose main issue is about capital gains or other things they don't even qualify for? That's my dad asking that question, and he's talking about our family. Hi, Dad. Look, you talk to them not the way you talk about Trump supporters in general, which is really condescending, which is like, hey, like, I understand that you don't agree with this in principle, but this doesn't affect you. This tax cut might hurt you a little more. Because it's, they're going to not be passing the savings on, and they're going to increase prices. They're going to do stock buybacks. Hey, like, your medical expenses are going to go down if you vote for a Democrat. Hey, just like the material things that matter to them in their life, talk about how those things would get better under a Democratic establishment, and show them how, and talk about how Trump is not supporting that. Because, yeah, like, you don't have to be like, hey, idiot, you'll never be rich enough for the capital gains tax, because that's true, but how convincing is that? Like they were saying, like, calling them stupid doesn't work. I call people stupid in debates because it's a debate, but it's not a typical thing. I think that Tesla video is going to be fire. Haha, a lot of people are making that joke. The Democrats need to expand beyond Trump is bad. Well, it's so annoying because, like, Trump is bad, but they do need to expand beyond it. If it isn't going to be censored for the black, okay, I see. Ryan Getty, hi Ryan, guys. I pinned Ryan's comment, and that wasn't favoritism. He had the funniest comment. So if you make the funniest comment on my video, I will pin it. Glad you made fun of that guy for doing the Kamala. Yeah, what the fuck was that? Was that like I thought he was being like Middle Eastern racist or something, which is, I don't know, she's not Middle Eastern. So that was really weird. But yeah, Kamala, that was so weird. I was like, I just had to ask. Like, I'm not, and that's exactly how you should do it, by the way. Not like, how dare you, sir? How dare you say that, like, horrible racist thing? Just be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you look like an idiot. Like, you're so brain poisoned that you're like, you can't even say the name of your opposition. This is what the Donald Trump stuff looked like. It looks stupid. It helped no one. It didn't embarrass him. It just made John Oliver look silly. So yeah, like, call that out. Sephiroth says, great video. Thank you. Kanklemore, we had a couple minutes. Avius is one of my OG community members. Oh, sick. Okay. Max Stirner, my company is apparently 2 steps removed from SpaceX. We get NASA purchases, which go to SpaceX. Interesting. So wait, what's your line on Trump? Like at what point? Oh, like what would I take action? You mean like go in the streets, and like not just protest? I mean, I don't know if he was coming after like my family or something like that. I mean, people are already doing that, right? Like their families are getting deported for less than justifiable reasons. It depends on if I thought it could make a material difference, right? And so right now, like doing this right now seems to be helping in some way. I don't know what it would take. I'd have to know that it would be the right thing to do. I'd have to be able to risk my livelihood, my liberties. I'd have to be 100% sure that like this is a last resort sort of thing, right? Bess is good, watches older videos on the kibbutz and German stuff. Oh, okay, sick. I saw the emojis. Oh, go. God, it's so hard to scroll through this chat. Nicole just got racially profiled. Yeah, I would have stopped and frisked you, Nicole. Sorry, in Bloomberg's New York, America. Did you see the detention center in Florida? I know of it. Portuguese people don't speak Spanish. God, did I? No. Sorry. I know Portuguese people speak Portuguese. I'm saying they would hear you speaking Portuguese, say it sounds like Spanish, and then profile you as an illegal immigrant and try to deport you. That's all I was saying. I'm very aware there's a difference. Which is funny though, because knowing Spanish, I can understand some Portuguese, which is really weird. Yeah. Tesla sales down 80% in Australia? Fuck yeah. Croatians don't speak Serbian. Yeah, Croatians speak Croatian, right? Oh my god, I used to know how to say something in Croatian. It was like how you say like silly chicken. It was like kokoš jedna. I learned it when I was in Germany. There's so many Croatians there. The Soy Pill, there was a weird thing on the right about constantly getting her name wrong. Well, so I understand. I used to say, so it's Kamala, right? I would say Kamala Harris. I said Kamala Harris because that sounded right. It rolled off the tongue. But he was saying Camel-la, like Camel-la. That was weird. He was trying to farm clips to get baby rage. Well, he did a horrible job. Well, no, that's not true. I yelled at them when he said we should deport beyond people. Ugh. That discussion gave me some hope for our country. Yeah, like those people are at least, like I feel like if I talk to them enough, like we could get to a nice spot. Kenkelmore, true. They need to switch it up to Trump is very bad. Exactly. My dad again says, but they are stupid. We literally need to save them from themselves. If we keep on this road, there won't be a government for them to bitch about or change. Sure, okay, I agree, Dad. Our relatives are not the smartest sometimes, and we can't say that to them as a way of convincing them, hey, idiot, you need to do this. It's, hey, I think this will help you. I think this will help you. Let me show you how it will help you. Hey, you know, and the anecdotes work so well with these people. I'm not saying they're because they're dumb. It's just like they really, when you give them a material example, when they see that, you know, people say Republicans will, you know, they don't care until it happens to them. Like, oh, they're anti-abortion, but then they'll get one when they need it. Like, it's true for a lot of different things. So if you go in to these people and you say, look, like, I understand your capital gains position, but like my child is losing his disability, you know, funding in school, or like, hey, I have a friend who makes about as much money as you, who does similar positions. I'm not saying lie, by the way, like bring up real examples, but like, hey, this happened to him and he's getting screwed right now. Like his, like talk about our cousin, right? My cousin right now is getting fired because of these stupid fucking Elon policies. Talk about her and how she's getting screwed over and how, like these policies don't make any sense and they're clearly meant to just gut the federal government, and how this isn't fair to her. She's a hard worker and she needs like to be rewarded for that, not be, you know, punished for doing her best. This is ridiculous. I think those things will really resonate with them. Ben Shapiro is a real person and not a villain from a 90s movie. Yeah, true. Rom-com. Well, he wouldn't be a rom-com villain. He'd be a James Bond villain. Yeah, I didn't really point this out, but that fucking centrist person, and they're defending deportations. It's like, dude, like you're not centrist. Like that guy, the guy who said he was super pro-life, which, you know, I respect as an opinion. All right, like that's your opinion. It's very hard to be, you know, objective on abortion. You're not a centrist. Why, if you think abortion is murder, why the fuck would you even consider voting for a Democrat? Like, unless there's some major utilitarian bad thing coming from the right, why would you ever support baby murder? You think millions of babies are being murdered. Why are you a centrist? That's the easiest wedge issue ever. So that doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, no, it sounds very different, Nicole. Portuguese does sound different once you get into the nitty-gritty, but certain words sound the same. Oh, the little soybean. I forgot to put that in there. Nice soybean. Mainland Portuguese sounds like gay Spanish. No, I'm sorry. Spain sounds like gay Spanish. Spain Spanish sounds like gay Spanish. And Mexican Spanish is superior to Spain Spanish. And I will say that. I've been saying Kamala the whole time. Well, it's fine. That's just a little bit of ignorance. You're not trying to make some weird Kamala joke. Ooh. Shapiro would be an Austin Powers villain. I can see it. I could see Shapiro being an Austin Powers villain. Epidemic of guys thinking they're centrist because they hold one position that was left-coded 10 years ago. Exactly. It's so annoying. Like, I mentioned this, I think I was talking to JJ, and I was like, you know, it's actually really refreshing talking to, like, neo-Nazis, because, like, they're not playing this stupid game where they're, like, dodging away from their real thoughts. They're just like, hey, I want you dead. And I'm like, oh, I mean, fuck you, but, like, at least I don't have to, like, spend 10 minutes, like, deciphering what your real position is. It's a little refreshing to just be able to get to the core of our disagreement and not have to play the stupid game where I know that I know what your real position is, but you won't fucking say it because you're too scared. Like, fucking so dumb. Centrism is being a Republican but too scared to say it. If you are on Hinge or any other dating apps, gotta go give them a Soy Pill. Bye, Dad. I'll see you on Saturday. I love you. Mwah. I still kiss my dad, all right? Make fun of me all you want. I don't give a fuck. What was I saying? I was thinking about give my dad a peck goodbye. No, I don't remember. God damn it. Oh yeah, it's just refreshing to talk to people that don't hide their fucking positions. Oh, if you see centrists on dating apps, they're Republicans. So, and actually you'll match with them and call them out for it. Have you seen the Noah Samson video on... Okay, yeah, you know what? Okay, I saw this Noah Samson video, and I haven't talked a lot about Gaza and Israel on streams or on channel just because, like, the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, I don't get this. Like, I get it. I understand the context. I understand the history. I understand people are being materially harmed. I understand how one-sided it is. I want that to end. All things that are very easy to say. What I don't get is, like, the more I learn about it, how much, like, propaganda is on both sides of this issue. And now all the shit-talking centrists, here I come, both sidesing things. I'm not taking a centrist position on this. Israel needs to stop bombing the shit out of Gaza and killing all these civilians. Yeah, obviously hostages taken, bad thing. But the more I learn about, like, the way this is framed, the more I'm like, who the fuck do I believe on this? Because I can see, like, demonstrable just lies and misinformation coming from sides of this that just frustrate the fuck out of me. And I want to know, like, what's a good source on this. Like, not Norman Finkelstein, but there was that Destiny Norman Finkelstein debate. The guy next to Destiny, he seemed like a good faith pro-Israel person who would cede ground to the Palestinian side of things when it made sense as that historian. Versus, like, I watched this Noah Samson video, and like, he says things that I just, like, know aren't true. Like, he's like, oh, like, Destiny's obsessed with Hassan, and he talks about him so much more. And I'm like, I mean, like, yeah, this is something I have slight, not authority on, but, like, I this is so embarrassing. Like, oh, I know more about Destiny lore than Israel-Palestine conflict. That's really is embarrassing, but it is something I know. It's like, oh yeah, no, Hassan, like, talks about him all the time. And, like, there's that clip. There's literally a clip of him going on and being like, oh, you know, he's only talked about, Destiny twice, and then Destiny opens the live stream and Hassan is literally talking about him in that exact moment. And it's like, yeah, like, no, like, this is disingenuous. Like, or you're just don't know you're wrong, or you're lying. It's just weird. And, like, it was weird because I think I could watch a video from a different person making the same kind of arguments and get better versions of what he's trying to do. But the way he's arguing it just seems so dogmatic and one-sided. And not in a, like, oh, he's not giving credence to Israel, but, like, the kind of people that go out and are just like, Israeli people love blowing up babies. They get off on it. And it's like, is that the official, like, position that you think that all these people have? Like, they just love just slaughtering innocents? Because on one hand, you can go watch TikToks of these ghouls in the IDF, like, reveling in harming innocent people because they think they're all monsters. That's disgusting. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist. You can see those street interviews of Israeli citizens. They're like, we just need to just blow it up, just blow it all up. And you're like, holy shit, that's disgusting, right? But then to say that now, okay, this is everything. Like, the narrative, like, this is every single Israeli wants this, seems very, like, not the case to me, or I don't fully buy into that. And so then you see the on the other end, I mean, you don't see this as much because there's just not as much resources or wealth or the ability for Gazans to do the same sort of things. But I'm sure you could, I could take a bunch of videos of Gazans being like, I want to destroy Israel, like, just take it off the map. And I'm not going to let that justify my position in what I think should happen policy-wise. I want to say, how can I minimize the amount of harm happening to people? How do I make sure there's a more lasting peace? And it's so hard for me to find like sources on like, who do I trust? Who's coming at this from a like objective standpoint of like, hey, this is what happened. This is the best way forward. So all of this to say, I don't like that Noah Samsen video very much. I wish I had better sources on Israel Gaza. I read the 100 Years War on Palestine, and I came out feeling like, obviously, yeah, these people were super fucked over, but at the same time, like looking at certain historical events as they were described and saying, this seems like I've read things contradictory to this, like the way this is described. So like, how biased is this, and what do I want to do with this information? I want some like super mega expert that I trust to come and give me a good position. Like I trust, like in politics, I trust Sam Seder a lot. Like he seems like one of the more authentic people in politics. I would trust him to literally just tell me what my opinion should be by giving me the context, and letting me come to a conclusion on my own. Because I trust the way that he reads into these sorts of things. So I don't know. I need to do more research on it. But honestly, right now, like, and this is going to sound bad, like I feel like for me personally, there are pressing matters that should be addressed right now that I think I can do a better job of. And I don't think I do a great job of doing Israel Gaza content because I truly like don't know how to address it the right way, which is probably the liberal cop-out position that Noah Samsen would say. So, you know, if that's me, so be it. I'm still going to donate to Palestinian refugee causes. I've done that already. And I put that humanitarian aid link in my inauguration video. Go check that out, guys, because look, I know this is the easy position to have. People who are innocent dying and suffering is fucking bad. And if we can help them monetarily, we should do that. So at the very least, we should do stuff like that. If you don't know which position to take in this very, very complicated issue. Shapiro is not cool enough to be a Bond villain. True. Adam Sandler movie. Yeah, he'd be an Adam Sandler bad guy. There's no such thing as a centrist. Agreed. I'm very behind in chats now because of that Noah Samsen rant. Sorry, guys. Spain Spanish sounds like generic Italian. True. We don't judge soy. You can judge me, guys. Guys, if you turn me into some fucking messiah figure because like, oh, I like his opinion so it can do no wrong, like, please don't. Don't fucking make merch of my face. Don't say, oh, I trust this guy no matter what. Like, if Sam Seder came out and it turned out he was a, you know, serial molester or something, because I haven't attached my person, like his personality as my politics, just I like the way he thinks, I can immediately be like, oh, I guess he's a piece of shit. I thought he had good ideas. Done. And you should absolutely judge me for lots of behavior. If you think I do something wrong, if you think I get something wrong, I got something wrong in my last video. I thought that Ben Shapiro said racial comedy. He said comity. That's like racial unity, which is a word I'd never known. And JJ pointed it out, and I didn't know that. That's bad. I got it wrong. Still made a funny joke about it, but for the love of God, hold me accountable. Apolitical is Republican, Nicole. By the way, not to incentivize you guys, but the member chats are highlighted, and it's easier for me to see them on this very fast-moving chat screen. Horrified by that lady at Tufts just getting kidnapped. Yeah, Ryan, it's fucking insane what is happening. My uncle is a soybean farmer, Kanklemore, based. I have no idea if the tariffs will affect him. I think they won't. I think, well, I'm not going to speak on authority. I think soybeans are like super subsidized by the American government because they want to counteract China, but I don't know for sure. The moment I realized they've been bombing an area that's the same size as Las Vegas, I'm not saying that Google the square mileage. Yeah, I understand like the tactics of the Israeli military are not exactly great. You know, they're doing a lot of bad stuff, and there's like tens of thousands of innocent people are dying. So I never saw his face prior. His looks are too distracting. Thank you, Autumn Berend. Although again, Autumn Berend, you look like and this might not be true, or maybe this is your profile picture. You look like a 80-year-old man in your profile picture from where my eyes are sitting. And there's nothing wrong with that. If an 80-year-old man finds me attractive, hell yeah. I walk through the Castro district in San Francisco. I get hit on by old gay men. The Shann video on Palestine is really good if you want to watch the video. I like Shann a lot, although I watched his Hiroshima video. Hiroshima. I didn't agree with what he was saying. I really didn't. I thought the way he framed it was not charitable to the arguments that I've heard. And I think, I mean, whether or not you justify like Hiroshima, I just didn't really come away from that thinking that he did what I thought was a good idea of portraying both sides of that. And I say this as a fan of him. I really like his videos. So I'll watch his Palestine video, but I don't know. It's the same thing for me where I'm like, the way that this is framed seems ridiculous. Actually, you know what? Maybe I did watch Shann's Palestine video. I think he there was parts where he talked about like, Israeli civilians went out and like watched the bombing and like reveled in it. And the way he described it, I don't remember the specifics, but I just remember thinking like the way you're portraying this versus how I think it might be charitably understood by those people, even if it is bad, like it didn't resonate with me. Like you can kind of tell, you can do this kind of litmus test when someone describes something, even if it's something that you agree with their opinion on, you can kind of tell whether like it's biased in a way that doesn't seem fair. And it's hard for me to describe this without going into the details. So maybe I'll do a stream where I review this sort of thing and I can tell you exactly what I mean. But let me think of an example. I can't think of an example. My brain is broken right now, if you can't tell by my eye bags, which are usually here. Maybe we'll get back to that. Connor says, I don't know anything about the Destiny thing. Can you summarize which Destiny thing? Oh, just look up Destiny Norman Finkelstein debate. You can go watch the whole thing. It's very entertaining, regardless of who you want to side with on that. Benny Morris. Oh, Benny Morris. That was the name. Thank you, William Clark. Was a former New Israeli historian. He did a lot of work in dispelling old mega pro-Zionist arguments. Yeah, like I got the vibe from that, and this is just vibes, that Benny Morris was a more charitable and understanding historian who would give a lot of credence to both sides of that issue, even though he is on the pro-Israel side. And I'm sure there are people like that on similar sides. Soy Pill Gaib. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. If I go into the chat, they'll worship me. Let's see. Oh, they did protest for the right to rape. Yeah, so that thing is like, okay, when someone that's a perfect example of what I was trying to say earlier. Okay, I don't know about this very much. I understand there were some like pretty fucked up things that happened to Palestinian prisoners, right? Now, it very well could be that the exact situation, if I go and look into this and really do research on this, is that Israeli said we should have the right to sexually torture people in our custody. And if that is the case, holy shit, fucking disgusting. Anything associated with that needs to be dismantled. However, when I hear that, I think, okay, there's probably some very bad things happening from the Israeli prisons happening here. But when you say it in that way, when it's so like demonstrably evil, it makes my brain go, okay, wait, maybe it is, but this sounds like propaganda. This sounds like, hey, this person is a pedophile, right? It's like, okay, maybe they are a pedophile, but why are you saying that? Like, show me what you mean by that. And if it's like, oh, this person dated a 19-year-old when they're 31, it's like, okay, questionable age difference, but that's not what a pedophile is. And if you call them a pedophile as your way of convincing me they're a bad person, now I don't believe you or trust you anymore. It's a very egregious claim that very well could be true, that I want to understand a little better. And when I hear it portrayed in the way it's portrayed, it doesn't pass the smell test. And I need to learn more about it. And it could very well be true, all right? It could be just as bad as he's describing it. But the way he describes it, it does not resonate with me in the same way that someone like a Sam Cedar would describe it. That is my position on that. Oh, bye, Jonah. Thank you for engaging. Have a good one. Right-wing grievances are the crack that social media companies serve people. Very true. And you can look up the study of how much right-wing media as a whole, as a majority, was pushed on people through Facebook, through Twitter, especially Twitter, obviously. I mean, Elon's algorithm pushed so much ridiculous shit. Now, like, half of every post is just Nazi crap. So, yeah, it's bad. Noah's saying we shouldn't separate the people and the government in Israel. Yeah, okay, wow. Okay, Star, thank you. This is another thing. He's like, look, here's like 3 street interviews I interviewed where people are saying fucked up shit. And without a doubt, there are Israelis that are like, hey, I wish we should glass Gaza. It's like, holy shit, you are advocating for a genocide. You support killing all of these people. That is insane. Now, to then say we should not disassociate those people, you can show me a poll of, hey, Israeli citizens support XYZ policy, or maybe they support the IDF, but it's like, it reminds me of the Ben Shapiro videos from 2016, where it's like, look how many Muslims support Sharia law. And then you really dig into it. And it's like, okay, are all these people supporting enslaving women, or are they supporting having, Muslim cultural practices in the area they live? Like, these are very different things. And the way that he's describing it seems anti-intellectual, not nuanced. And that doesn't mean you have to give the exact same credence to both sides of this, but it seemed very not descript in a way that I like. And I will remind everyone of a Vosh Noah Samson debate that I watched once, where it just seemed like Vosh, who's someone I disagree with on a lot of things, well, not a majority of things, but I disagree with his rhetoric sometimes, just like totally tore this guy apart, from what I could remember, because this guy's like arguments were just not good. So Noah Samson, as far as I've currently seen, I'm not as big of a fan, but maybe my mind could be changed. Have I met an Israeli? I know one specific one who was in my videos, not in my videos, in my audience way back when I was super duper small, who reached out to me, an OG, if you will, and he does not act that way at all. So that's also anecdotally, but I don't think that would be the majority. If it is, even if it's 60% of people, which is insane and fucked up, that doesn't mean you can't disassociate the fact that there's a lot of people that don't like what Netanyahu is doing. The criticisms of the Israeli government should be squarely at Netanyahu. No, because there's people in his admin too. But yeah, it shouldn't be at the civilians. Unless the civilians are like as bloodthirsty as those sorts of people. Why do people keep trying to do ethno-states? Because people suck. Soy is the back at the Messiah comments. I scrolled down on accident. No one is perfect except Kyle Kalinske. Dude, go look at the account old Kyle Kalinske tweets. It's so funny. He said some weird shit in like 2012, and I say that as someone who likes what he says, but I think Kyle posts cringe a lot. I think he makes some cringe comments, and I say this as someone who respects his politics. I don't like when he posts cringe. He'll post like essentially like the equivalent of boomer Facebook memes, but for left wingers sometimes. I'm like, come on, man, this is so silly. Based plug. I hope I plugged good people. One from Devin. Hi, Devin. I love you. Miss you. Member chat is a privileged class. It is, sorry. Soy being demonetized has a very strong history with racism and Asia. Oh, soy being demonized. I thought you were talking about me. Look at me being a narcissist. Oh, when I said we don't judge, that was in context of kissing your dad. Aw. Yeah, you better. Yeah, that's the one thing you can't call me out for, is loving my dad. Do you think it is a genocide? I don't know. Like, you look at like so it's like, okay, look at what was the International Court of Justice, and everyone's like, look, they said it was genocide. And I was like, okay, well, I guess if this like independent third party thing is saying it probably is. And then I looked into it, and it's like, okay, well, they said it's plausible, but we're not sure, and based on this definition, and it's like, okay, maybe it's not. I will say this: if Trump does what he wants to do, it's genocide, just by definition. Like you can say, oh, well, their tactics were killing too many people. There's too much collateral damage. Maybe there's some leeway here. Maybe there's an argument for whether or not it is. It doesn't matter whether or not you call it the G word, right? Bad things are happening to these people. But when you say, hey, let's clear all 2 million of these people out and ethnically cleanse this area, that is just it's genocide by definition. All I know is I empathize with the people getting hurt right now. I know people with family there. I know people who came out of there. That shit needs to stop. The ceasefire keeps getting broken. I don't know how you stop it, especially with Trump in power. And it's fucking it's like harrowing. So yeah, donate where you can. Send more aid to the people that are victims of this violence. And yeah, loving that privilege that money can buy. God bless capitalism. Hell yeah. Hold up your glass next to your head. Oh yeah, it's a big glass, guys. This is like a beer stein. I think this is a liter, or maybe it's not 2, right? I think it's like a liter thing, but I drink water out of it instead of beer. Is the textbook definition of genocide? Okay, you already said that. If you guys don't know about Palestine, find me on Discord. The Soy Pill, be more specific. Sorry guys, if you say something that is non-specific to something I am talking about live, clarify in the message so I know what you mean, because I'm behind here. It's difficult for me as a Euro to talk with MAGA friends since most of them say that Trump's policies don't affect them as a Swede. Guys, look at the way, talk about NATO pulling out of what she wants to do, talk about the tariff policies, which, the dollar standard matters when other countries' economies rely on investing in America. Talk about how the arms that the countries get from America are now unreliable because we don't know whether or not America's where their allegiances lie. It's insane. Like, talk about how Europe is absolutely affected by America's current situation. Soy, when are you going to oil up? I'm not oiling up for my workout vid, but I'll get sweaty. Shann is super ideologically captured. Yeah, I mean, I still like him. I really like this Harry Potter video. I might do a Harry Potter video, guys. I used to be a Harry Potter fiend, and I think it'd be fun to kind of shit on parts of it because I like it. How's that podcast idea of mine going? Podcast idea? Oh, Silent Sword. I don't know. I'm thinking of doing some sorts of I'm going on podcasts. I've been invited to a few, so I just don't know if I'm going to make my own. One, because I just don't know what I would want it to center around. Power belongs in the hands of those who would discard it. Soy Pill, you are chosen. No, if that was the case, then why would everyone not just simply say I don't want it, right? Remember when Twitter was considered left-wing? Yeah, it was only like 2 years ago. It got bad really bad, or really, really fast. Sorry, guys, I'm going to have to skip over some of these to catch up. Do Israelis want to have a religious state? I mean, literally, yeah, pretty much. Nicole, oh, you posted horse emojis because of Vosh mention? Yeah. I like when Kyle goes into bro speak. Yes, Kyle is someone who at the very least will, throw down dirty like I want. I choose Wamba says, dude, you lost the plot. I don't know what that means. Albert, again, dude, thank you so much. Didn't Elon say it wasn't Hitler that killed 6 million people? So Netanyahu's innocent? Oh, no. I think that was, what was it called? He was like, Hitler didn't kill people, the bureaucratic state did. And he uses this as like justification to say, look, guys, we're dismantling bureaucracy. Which is so fucking insane. What is your favorite non-New York City, Northeast city? I really liked... oh my god, where is Brown? Is it Delaware, Rhode Island, Delaware? Brown College. I was in Brown College. Providence. I really liked Providence. I went to a summer program there. I have strong Harry Potter opinions, and J.K. Rowling is a hack. J.K. Rowling is a hack. She totally dropped the ball on expanding the magical stuff, but I still like it. Are you going on to Gavin Newsom's podcast? Well, I'm not a crazy right-wing Nazi, so no. I don't know if I can say which podcast I'm invited on yet, because one, it might not happen, and two, I don't know if they want to make sure that they still want me. I just won't say. You'll see it if it happens. I reread Harry Potter. It was disappointing how poorly written. It's a kid's book, guys. Come on. Like, yeah, the premise is fun. The characters are fun. There's a lot of fun moments. It doesn't age well when you're an adult and you're used to better literature. Type 1 to support So Bad They're a Good movie review podcast with Devin. We should do that. Our Maze Runner podcast did really well. We should do that. We should do like a RoboCop review. Oh man, I'll split the revenue with you, Devin. I don't even think she's a good writer. She stumbled into success. Look, I mean, you can say people like shitting on J.K. Rowling because, yeah, her politics are bad. But there's something to be said about like how fun Harry Potter is. Like, yeah, there's a lot of flaws, and we can all point those out. But I'll still defend it. But anyone who says it's a shitty book, I think, is ideologically captured. If they're saying it now, like if you said it when it came out, sure. Elon saying Hitler didn't kill 6 million people is like saying I didn't shoot you, the gun did. Yeah, it's a dumb point. He thinks he's so profound. He is the epitome of I'm 14 and this is deep. Philadelphia sucks. Sorry, guys. I did not have a good time there. Almost got robbed. I hope my last message came through as sarcasm, Albert. No, I got you. I see what you were saying. But just in case, put the /S. It's hard when I'm reading all these chats. Will you ever do a video about Andy Pants Gaming? If I ever do anything on media figures, I think I will do something on like the mall, like the EFAP people whose videos, some of I actually like a lot, but like they're so poisoned by like the anti-woke crap. Who's Andy Pants Gaming? Okay, yeah, this is the kind of people I'm talking about though, because this thumbnail is 3 of 4 romances in Assassin's Creed Shadows are gay, and there's just text that says gay shit. So yeah, maybe I would talk about those sorts of people. The ones in the chat, they want the podcast, Evan. Have you seen the butterbeer flavored goldfish? Oh my god. Like the goldfish cracker, but they taste like butterbeer? Ew. I like butterscotch. It's one of my favorite flavors. I might actually like that. Every time a character went for a walk, the author wrote that he stretched his legs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets a little repetitive, especially when you binge them. How bad of an artist's personal conduct have to be for you to fully dislike their art? They could be like, if Hitler made like music I liked, I would listen to the music. Like, and I don't want to financially support them, obviously. I pirate it, but like, and I wouldn't try to share it with people so that they have a higher chance of supporting him. But like Kanye West is like, seems like a pretty terrible person. I still listen to Kanye West, right? Like it's good music, all right. I fully believe in death of the author. Like if supporting their art doesn't support them, and you can try to be like minimize that damage, I think it's fine. If you're materially helping J.K. Rowling right now by like buying Harry Potter merch, I would say don't do that. But like you can still enjoy the books you bought back when like 1999. Dr. Seuss is a bad writer. Yeah, his work is far too simplistic. He rhymes too much. How much money do I need to pay you to watch and review The Gay Deceivers? If I say enough for me to pay rent this month, will you do it? The Gay Deceivers. What is this? The Gay Deceivers is a comedy film which focuses on two straight men who are attempting to evade the draft by pretending to be gay. That does sound fun. Maybe I'll do it. I wasn't alive when the first one came out. I also don't think I was alive when the first one came out. She's a lazy writer who drops plot points all the time. Guys, you can pick holes in a lot of things. I don't think they're like genuinely bad. Unsubscribed after your Philly slander. Sorry, guys. I really don't like Philadelphia, or at least when I was there. I like Pittsburgh. But I just did not have a good time there. Maybe I was in a really bad area, to be fair. I love watching Harry Potter takedown content. Yeah, no, I will. I think what I do is like go over the movies and talk about like how the movies don't make sense. If you watch the movies and haven't read the books, there's so many things that are just like, what is happening right now? Like this is complete nonsense, and not in the, like a show don't tell way. Just like genuinely does not make sense. Do a video on EFAP. Yeah, I would probably talk about some of these EFAP people because I think their media takes are bad. No, excuse me. I don't think all their media takes are bad. I think the way that they address left-wing media is brain rotted. However, I really like the reason I even know about them is because Mahler aired all of my grievances in a very long-winded way about the Star Wars sequels. So I do like the way, for the most part, that they criticize things I don't like. Can't believe I used to like EFAP. I don't even hate them. I'm still subscribed. Sometimes I'll watch what they're talking about. Maybe I'll go on and try to be friends with them. Don't forget to smash the like button. Hell yeah. I did see, Albert, the latest Elon gaming story. That was so funny. Where they're like he's trying to jump in on this like woke culture war crap. And they're like, oh, you want to call us or Hassan unauthentic? Like, didn't you pay some guy to play Path of Exile for you? You're ridiculous. Kanye's new song, have you read the lyrics? It's bad. I have not. Why, is he like just like super anti-Semitic in them? What's my favorite TV show? Used to be Scrubs, probably not anymore. Now my favorite TV show is, it might be Breaking Bad. I've rewatched it so many times. I've been talking like Jesse for a while now, just because he was in the Invincible show as what was it, Powerplex? You're like, Invincible. That show's so great. But I like Better Call Saul. Do I like Better Call Saul better? I don't know. It's so much fun. Do not look up the political opinions of Salvador Dali. This sounds familiar. EFAP crowd just nitpicks 99% of the time. Yeah, that's like Mahler. The problem with Mahler is someone needs to make an abridged version of his like 8-hour takedown because like there's so many good points in there, but not enough. Swear to God, Pill, make the video. I will expand on my thoughts in the comments. She is that bad. Ah, man, I used to exclusively read. I've read Harry Potter like 21 times, like before going to high school, and it would take a lot to convince me that her writing is just terrible. All right. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff, don't get me wrong. Like, there's so much world building just falls through, and she totally gives up on trying to develop. Kanye says in his new song he reads Mein Kampf at night. Wow. Okay. If you visit Philly, I will give you a tour of the Gayborhood, and you'll be really popular. Okay. I'll give it another shot, honestly. I'll say I'm neutral on Philly now. You guys have convinced me. Dictatorship can happen just as easily in capitalism as in socialism. I don't know about like the ease of it, but it can happen in both. So, where was I? Crap. Devin wants to review Some Like It Hot. Sounds close to that gay movie. Bro hasn't reacted to a single chat I made. I'm unsubscribing. Skull 100. What? I didn't see your chat. Sorry, Skull, but I'm sorry. Maybe I'm brain poisoned, and I thought you were asking me to put like a skibbity toilet. You specifically are the inspiration for that joke I made in the first 10 seconds of my newest video with all the skibbity toilets and brain rot crap. So think about that next time. You've been immortalized in a Soy Pill video. Do you see the PhD student who got deported by plainclothes officers? I think so. Yeah, it's fucking insane. He drops a hard R in that new song. Wow. Okay, to be fair, Randy Newman does in Rednecks, and he's white, so got to see the context. Though knowing Kanye, I'm pretty sure I know the context. If Hitler made good music, I would listen is one of the quotes of all time. Yeah, I know. I would not listen to Hitler even if he made Graduation. In capitalism, it is even more so because asking the government to not grow with the economy is like asking a 5-year-old not to get in the cookie jar. I still don't super follow what you're saying, Scruffy. I get what you're getting at, but I'm just not sure. I'd have to see this play out. How do you think a multi-party US would look like? I just don't think it'll ever happen. We should make the freaky party. Yeah. Jay Eggsy trans. That's what's crazy. Yeah, Jay Eggsy is trans. I like Jay Eggsy's content, and I think she goes by she. She like associates with these people super hard. And I think these people super support people who like want to dismantle trans stuff, but maybe she's broken ties. I don't know. You replied to my TLDR comment asking if I could do that on more of your vids. Did you like my other TLDRs, Arch Keyboard? Arch Keyboard, I don't recognize your username only because I can only keep so many in my head. But if I liked your comment, that I probably want you to do it again. I probably endorse it. If anyone likes a Harry Potter takedown, you need to read Harold Bloom's For the World of Letter, It's a Horror. I'm going to put that in the new tab so I can read it later tonight. I watched the final season of Breaking Bad in one day. Nice. Let me hear the mic impression. Oh, man. I don't know if I can do it right now. Let me think about it. Walter. Put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you right now. Have you seen Common Side Effects? I have not. Better Call Saul is objectively better. I do like it better. Yeah, the first 2 Harry Potter films are very kiddie. I do like Invincible a lot. We can bond over that. Ooh. About rolling and foam at the mouth. Cool. Invincible is my new favorite. Yeah, I like genuinely look forward to Invincible like episodes. Like I think about it like as the week's coming up. Like, oh, Wednesday is Invincible Day. David Kern, thank you for the $2. Better Call Saul is based, indeed. How dare you ignore me? I'm super important. I'm not ignoring you, Arch Keyboard. Now, first of all, I'm going to remember your name now because I've said it out loud, but have I seen the show Lost? I loved Lost in middle school. I hated it I really disliked it post season 4 when I realized I was never getting the answers that would be satisfying. And then J.J. Abrams and just continued to do that to me, and I kept falling for it like it's Star Wars. Sam Gray. Hey man, I love your videos. Happy I caught you live. Well, thank you for watching, Sam Gray. Appreciate it. Harry Potter kind of Star Wars ripped off? No. I'm trying to respond to all the comments, Killer B. I'm here for a live from Australia. Hello, Samuel. Popular. You're going to be popular. Something Wicked song. I forgot their lyrics. I've been listening to Wicked. But he's hot. No. If you're talking about me, thank you. If you're talking about something else, I don't know what you mean. Read that, not out loud. Read what, not out loud? I hate when people are vague. Sorry, guys. I don't hate it, but I'm just like, I want to respond and I don't know how. I would say dictatorship is far easier in capitalism. It has always been a dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. Yeah, it depends on your definition. Opinions on Ezra Klein's Abundance and YIMBY Ideas. 0 opinions. I have not read it. My apologies. Although I did hear from Ezra Klein in the past, I remember liking what I heard. What is Randy Newman's problem with short people? I don't know. I didn't know he had a problem with short people. We have to review Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Devin, we have to make content. I love you so much, and I think people will love us together. Why are X-Wings called X-Wings when Star Wars doesn't use the Latin alphabet? They use Arabic. Yeah, that is a nitpick. from EFAP. That is ridiculous. Like, who cares? That's like a shut up nerd sort of nitpick. But when they nitpick, sometimes it's like, I can't believe like they forgot this one detail from my EU novel. It's just like, dude, like that's not nearly so important. Like, stop. My parents thought Harry Potter was satanic, along with Pokemon and Doom. Doom? Like Doctor Doom? I was allowed to play Doom the game. Doom is satanic, to be fair. There's lots of satanic. Should watch Common Side Effects. Opening up a new tab to check that one out as well, Father of Frogs. Like your name. I love alliteration, guys. Common Side Effects. Animated series. Oh, okay. I've seen clips of this. I thought this was a Game Grumps fan animation. I thought that was JonTron. Missed the whole debate. Yeah, sorry. Hey, Anita Bonghit. How's it going, patron? It'll be up on the Soy Pill streams. It'll technically, the VOD will be here as well, but I'll edit, I'm cutting off this out part. I like Better Call Saul as well. Good. Invincible fell off hard after season 1. I agree insofar as season 2 is not nearly as good as season 1. However, season 3, I might say, is even better. But I don't think it's gone. Yeah, don't get the spoil. Just binge it, LT. I know, don't watch Severance, but don't sub. I've already watched Severance. I really like it. Soy, when's the new video coming out? Well, considering the last one has been out for about 24 hours, the new one, hopefully within 3 weeks, because I need to increase my output. We'll see. Hot take, the only good white rapper ever is Mac Miller. I was just listening to Mac Miller, but I like Eminem. I like G-Eazy. I like Macklemore. I like the guy from Run the Jewels, I think is white. Invincible always sucked. Get him out of here. Get him the hell out of here. No, it's okay. You can stay. By your icon, I assumed you were going to be butt cheeks ugly. Oh. It's not a joke per se. I think it's just a funny looking guy. But thank you for knowing that I'm not ugly. Because you replied, I watched the vid. Oh, sick. Okay, thank you, Arch Keyboard. Oh, I think I know which comment you're talking about. People slept on Terminator Zero. I liked Terminator Zero to a degree. It was weird, but I liked it. How can we stop the recession and rise of neo-fascism by lunchtime tomorrow? January 6th, too. Soy Pill, what I mean is that in capitalism, what incentives the system is infinite growth. If government participates in that infinite growth, I think we can have a capitalist, social democracy that doesn't lead to a dictatorship. When you address the allegations that you drink normal milk instead of soy milk, it's not an allegation. I had 2% in a coffee yesterday. I apologize. Although I'm going to start just getting slowly transitioning away from all animal products as much as I can. Not as much as I can. That's a lie, because I could stop right now. But I'm going to baby step my way into veganism at some point. So I'm going to start doing oat milk. Soy milk is better, actually. I'll do soy milk. Of course, I have to. Oh, whoops. I scrolled too far. No. I'll stay on for a little longer, guys, and then I'm going to abandon you because I have another debate panel tomorrow, which I think will be a little more contentious, on Gibbs' debate panel. Admiral Gibbs, who went on Timcast recently, which is really cool. More uploads, more Soylent. I'm trying. Did I ever watch Non-Compete? I watched him debate Destiny, and I wasn't impressed with him. Wait, is Non-Compete, is that the same guy as... Oh my god. YouTube... Non-Compete. Non-Compete is a collective. Yeah, okay. No, this is not Mike from PA, but I wasn't super impressed, but I know very little about him. Don't give him his jacket. Get him the hell out of here. Exactly. G-Eazy was white. Yeah, I'm pretty sure G-Eazy's white. His icon is pretty accurate. Oof. I can't even, how would I don't even know how I make my teeth go 3 or 4 inches in front of my bottom teeth. Terminator Zero was good in my opinion. Hell yeah. What are your thoughts on brunch? You wait in line? What is brunch? Brunch is fine. I love eating breakfast. Breakfast is probably my favorite meal to eat out. I watched your video on Luigi. You got my sub. Hell yeah. Thank you, Ashanti Reed. Why no animal products? Why vegan? I think being vegan is the moral superior position. I think you can be vegetarian easily and still claim most of that moral position, moral superiority, but it's just morally superior to be a vegan. Sorry guys, killing animals to eat, there's just no justification for it. I do it, and I think it is a bad thing that I do. I think it's a thing I need to stop doing. I support people going vegan. I think being a preachy vegan is bad. I think approaching people who are, vulnerable. Like I have friends that I say this to, and they get so defensive, and I'm like, look, you can't make a good argument to me that it is somehow not morally inferior to kill animals for your luxury. If you had to do it to survive, that's a different story. But if you're killing animals because you want to eat meat because it tastes good, you're just a worse person. Sorry, you're causing unnecessary suffering, and I want to stop, albeit slowly. Yeah, I do enjoy steak. I just like breakfast more. You can have steak for breakfast. I hate that time zones exist. It's always 9 p.m. when you're chatting. Sorry, Skull. That's why VODs exist. Maybe I'll stream more on a more daily basis for longer periods of time. That'd be cool. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, God. I keep losing this. Thoughts on Adolfo Hitler? Is that a different person? Steve, smiley face. Hey, so cool. Found about your channel. Great humor. Thank you. Soy, watch Zach Starr himself. I'll put it in the list. If you like alliteration, my music got lots of it. Oh, if you've got music. Oh, you just reminded me. Oh my God, fuck. I totally forgot. Someone sent me a song to use in streaming, and I had stopped streaming for a while. But yeah, guys, if you want me to feature your music, if you think it fits the vibe, maybe I'll use it in bumpers, especially if I stream more. I totally forgot. I got to go look through my email and find that guy's song. Shit. Season 2 was slower. Amber was annoying. Amber. Oh my God, Amber was barely in the comics. I hate how much they expanded her character. Get him out of there. What's your opinion on Andor? Oh, I fucking love season 1 of Andor. Great show. It's the best thing to come out of Star Wars since the original movies. It's actually good. It's probably even better, arguably, than a lot of parts of it. It's very cool. So I'm very excited for season 2. Oh, I'm going to go watch the Daredevil show after this too, which is not as good as Andor, but it's something to watch. Does anyone know Stargate SG-1? People keep recommending that. I might have to check it out. I've never actually read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, William, despite what my avatar looks like. Oop, lost the chat. Black bean burgers and cauliflower wings, chef's kiss. Look, I'm so holding out for lab-grown meat. That's like my guilty pleasure of at that point I can be vegan or technically ethical about eating meat and not have to wean my way off of missing everything. Mitigation is good. Cutting back on meat. I cut back on meat. I eat more yogurt instead of meat for my protein, but I think it's a binary thing. You really just shouldn't kill animals. Vegetarian is fine. Vegan is not worth it. It depends on how they make the products, right? I don't think you're torturing bees to take honey. I don't think you're torturing chickens to get eggs. But if you have unethical sourced eggs, unethical sourced milk, then it is almost just as bad. And if we can avoid it, we should. How'd the debate go? I think it went pretty well. Anita Bonghit says, yes, thank you. I hope that's in reference to me posting the VOD. Thank you, Anita, for being a top tier patron. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to oil up. Sorry, guys. I can thirst trap, but I'm not going to go that hard. Ando was perfect through and through, 100%. Although it is funny, watching it, just knowing he's going to die in the, slightly underwhelming Rogue One. Spoilers for Rogue One. Thoughts on Severance Season 2 ending? I really liked it. I really like how that show is able to keep up this weird aura of tension, but also comedy. I think one bad thing about it, the one thing I can say bad about Severance is it never feels like this all-powerful company is all powerful. Why don't they have cameras everywhere? Why don't they try to stop these people sometimes? It does seem a little weird, but it's more fairy tale, I would say. The sequels ruined everything, including Andor. The sequels are dog water. I hated them. Thoughts on Catholic vegetarians whose only source of meat is fish? I think there's some justification for once there's less sentience in the animal. I think you could be an ethical vegan and eat bugs. I really do. I just don't see a lot of sentience in bugs. I could be proven wrong, but Any clues on the next vid topic? Nicole, you already asked me and I told you, but I'll tell you again. And I'm not annoyed with you, but you act like I'm keeping it a secret. It's either going to be on Tesla protests with interviews, and then I'll talk about Elon Musk as well and why people don't like him, or it's just going to be the Freedom Tunes. I'm making a video on that as well. Another debate went well, and we know how that turned out. Save the rebellion! Save the dream! Poor gullet! Devin. That's fair. That speaks even more to the writing. You already know who's going to live, die, and yet it still feels like they're six. That is 100% how I felt about Better Call Saul. All right, knowing exactly where all the characters are going to end up, but being able to introduce characters like Nacho and oh my God, what's the bad Timothy? What does Tony Dalton play? Jesus Christ, why can't I remember his name? The guy who goes Werner Ziegler, that guy. Lalo, thank you. Lalo and Nacho and Kim, and knowing not what's going to happen to them, so there's stakes, and knowing like there's a scene where like there's a shootout, and like Saul he has plot armor. I know he won't die. He's in Breaking Bad, and that had tension in it. I loved it. The way they're able to do that was amazing. What's up, Soy Pill? I love your videos and lives. Thank you, Waffles. I appreciate that. Mountain oysters. What does that mean? I missed it. I'm doing schoolwork. Oh, no problem, Nicole. No, again, I'm not like mad if you miss it, but it's funny that you asked. I answered and then you asked again. But yeah, and hopefully I can get it out faster because I'm so guys. By the way, I think my video is like performing like better than anything else, even better than the Matt Walsh one. So thank you so much for enjoying it. I had a lot of fun making it too. Have I seen Mad Men? I haven't. Okay. I can't believe I'm gonna get off. Last minute questions. Hit me up, guys, because I don't want to end on this message. Mo Reese saying, "Hey, at Nicole, are you a minor?" Fucking get out of here with this shit. That's not what I want to foster. But this is why I'm not making a Discord. You guys are gonna make some weird fucking shit happen. Father of Frogs, guys, you missed my comment. Oh, Father of Frogs, what did you say? Say it again. Oh, thoughts on Naruto. Oh, here, I'll leave you with this, guys. Go look up JJ McCullough Naruto. It is hilarious. JJ does not watch a lot of media, and it's him talking to, I think it's Gokanaru and J-Reg, and he's trying to describe what he thinks Naruto is, and it's one of the funniest things I've seen in quite a while. I laughed very hard this morning. Maybe it was yesterday. Create the Discord. I'm not doing it. I'm not a minor, but I'm also going to ignore that. Good, Nicole. Don't encourage it. When will you do a Skibidi Toilet reaction stream? Unironically, talking about Skibidi Toilet, not as a product itself, but talking about how people think it's like the death of children's media, might be worth it because it's interesting. You know, I grew up on Gmod, Idiot Box, and Source Filmmaker, YouTube Poop, and all this dumb crap, and then people see like, you know, Skibidi Toilet, and they're like, "We're cooked. The youth is cooked." It's like, I turned out all right. I think it's fun art. It really is. It is brain rot. It's stupid, but it's fun art. Rise of Skywalker or Phantom Menace. Look, anytime, like the prequels are not good movies. They're infinitely better than the sequels. Just found your channel yesterday. Like your vids, they are well made. I am a closeted lib. Well, Groovy McCrout, you're on the right track. Father of Frogs. How do you spell that? JJ McCullough. Here, let me see. Can I spam this in chat? JJ McCullough. Naruto. Let's just throw it in the chat.
From my understanding.
Yeah, okay, here we got it. I'm throwing it in the chat for you guys. This video is great, and he draws Rock Lee from like memory, and having never seen it, and it's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. JJ's great, guys. If you're not subscribed to JJ McCullough, I know there's only like a couple hundred of you guys in here, but he in 2022 predicted that he was on the track to become a 1 million subscriber person, and to this day he does not have it, and that is a crime. Because this man makes great videos. He's become a friend of mine, having reached out, and he's awesome guy. Go subscribe to him. Let's try to push him over. Let's see, 2025, we're getting JJ to 1 million, and it's weird saying that as someone who has significantly less subscribers, and obviously, like, if anything, I've gotten so many from him rather than the other way around. But I want to see this man get his 7 digits. 7 digits. Get it. 7 figures. Can you link any sources or videos about Lenin dismantling? Oh, okay, you're not asking me because I don't know that. Best exercise to become my true summer twink self. If you want to be a twink, you don't need to exercise. I mean, just do cardio. Eat less. Don't starve yourself. Go on runs. Go on walks. Caloric deficit. You will become a twink in no time. Get great abs. You'll be a nice little skinny twinkie boy. Scruffy. Oh, okay. Make some chat emotes. I will make some more emotes for members, guys. Right now I just have some beans and all that, and the guy with the knife from that one debate. I'll make some more. My editor, who does amazing work, she does all my thumbnails. If you like my thumbnails, the soy sauce is doing a great job, and I pay her, but not enough. Hey, the more money you give me, the more money I can justify paying her. She will make me some more emotes. Skibidi Toilet is no more egregious than MLG memes. Exactly, and MLG memes. Oh, I fucking love MLG edits. You said there's another debate tomorrow? Yes, I will throw that up as soon as this is done. It is tomorrow at, I believe it is 3 p.m. want to say again, same exact time, because it's 5 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, and that one is on some other stuff. And I will be preparing that one instead of just talking vagaries of the Democratic Party. Any thoughts on Alex Rosen? Never heard of him. Sorry. Oh, yeah, Avius got the little soybean. Do you consider yourself a leftist? In the way that people would describe leftists now, like from the Republican standpoint, obviously, I'm a progressive. I'm a Bernie supporter. I'm an AOC supporter. I don't know if I am a leftist because that would imply like socialist, and I don't know if I'm a socialist. I'm at very least, I'm like, look, get me to where Germany is, which is a place that I like living, which I had much more higher progressive taxes, better healthcare, all this great investment stuff. Plenty of problems, right? Get me there, and then start talking to me about like whether or not I should be a socialist or communist. Because once I got to fight for like what we don't have now, which is closer. Maybe. I also don't know who Kat Abu Gazella is. Sorry. Can I lobby Mark Lamont Hill to bring you on? Like anyone who wants to talk to me, I'd probably be willing to talk to Mark Lamont Hill. This person sounds familiar, but yeah, absolutely, please do. Could you suggest some channels you think your audience would enjoy? Yeah, here, let's leave it off on that. What else? The Soy Pill's about to log off. You've binged all my videos. What should you go watch? I think for like daily like coverage of the news, I like the Majority Report. But if you're looking for more video essay type stuff, historically, like what is like, hey, I want to learn about something. I really want to feel like I'm being educated. JJ McCullough, like I said, is good. He does a lot of good stuff that I've been watching recently. I'm not just plugging that because my friend. I'm plugging that now because I genuinely like his stuff. JJ is good. And I just recently started watching, again, because he reached out, and I'm not doing this for influences, just because I start watching their stuff when they reach out. Mr. Beat does a similar type, like historical analysis stuff. I very much liked his stuff. Then I'm trying to think of people I liked watching. Shann Vids was brought up. I really like Shann Vids. 3 Arrows. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. I love 3 Arrows. Let me, real quick here, last thing I will do here. This is still part of the last thing I already said was the last thing. I'm going to go through my subscriptions here and tell you who else to subscribe to. Let's see. Oh, Amon Animations. It's not exactly policy, but he's great. Who else have I been watching? Let's see. A lot of this stuff is what's it called? Like comedy stuff, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to recommend you just random ContraPoints, obviously, but you guys are all subscribed to her. Obviously, you guys are subscribed to her. I like Crobcat, but that's more media stuff. Let's see. Oh, come on. There's got to be some in here. I'm like scrolling through and everything is just... Oh, Fami. Fami, again, someone who reached out, friend of mine, but like, I think she makes really good content. Fami does like tech stuff. It's not as political, but she makes really, really well edited stuff. And like, I'm jealous. If I get enough money, I will just hire her to edit my videos because their shit's so well edited. So go watch Fami. That's F4MI. Some more news, obviously. I think if you go back and watch some more news from 2017 to 2019, I think that is like golden era. I really like Jon Stewart type of stuff. So go watch them. Oh, you guys are putting your own stuff in here. Second Thought, Noah Sampson. These are all people I don't watch, so I can't shout them out myself without knowing exactly whether or not... I mean, go watch them, obviously. I don't watch them. Oh, right. FD Signifier, obviously. H Bomber Guy. Hey It's Vadim. I really like Hey It's Vadim. I really like his editing. He hasn't put out a lot of stuff recently. I think he's, maybe going through some personal stuff or transitioning to some, other career. I don't know. But he used to be, what was it? Creationist Cat, but now he's just Hey It's Vadim. And I really, really like, he was a big inspiration, just like the way he edits his videos, I really like. So Hey It's Vadim, definitely. Hi, Mr. Pooties. Let's see. I'm going through the whole alphabet, guys. I'm trying to give you everything. Oh, Internet Commenticate. Also not political, but I really like him. Oh, Your Movie Sucks. If you're not subscribed to him, he's also not particularly, political, but I really, really do like his analysis. Let's see. Jose is another person. I very much like his video essays. He apparently, I feel so bad about this. He watched my Matt Walsh video right before he released his, which he reviewed like 3 films, not just Matt Walsh, and he said like, oh, I had to change something. I didn't want to seem like it was too similar, which like super honored, first of all, that he watched my thing and like said, wow, this was good enough that I didn't want to seem like I was stealing. But also it made me feel bad because I'm like, dude, like you inspired me, right? Like I was watching you and like your video essays inspired me to make video essays. And the fact that like I'm somehow impeding that makes me sad. Like, dude, if we have the same take, it's because you have a good take. All right. Like, but yeah, Jose for sure. So that's just Jose. I think it's Jose the J is like the longer version of that. Let's see what else we got here. We're in L's, guys. I'm going through the whole list. I'm going to give you everyone before I log off here. Maddox, a classic one. You know, he's a comedian, obviously, so he does not necessarily political stuff, but Maddox is like classic internet, like cracked.com type stuff. And he is very funny, and he doesn't put out as much stuff anymore, but I really, really like him. Maddox, Maddox. Let's see what else we got here. Down to O's. Oh, Potholer 57, 54, Potholer 54. He debunks people. So he'll like debunk Steven Crowder's bullshit, you know, like anti-climate change stuff. Really like him. He does not post as much, and he's like just seems like one of these just amazing people who's like doing it for the love of the game. I don't think he like monetizes. He's just like, look, these guys are bullshit. I'm a scientist. I'm going to make you know, sure that you understand how much bullshit this is. Timba on Toast. I saw that in my chat, and I think I have him in here. So yeah, Timba on Toast is a good one. He made a video taking down Dave Rubin, Tim Pool. Very, very good videos. What else we got here? We're almost to the bottom, guys. What else are you guys recommending? Red Letter Media. Yeah, of course, Red Letter Media. They are such a huge comedic inspiration for me. I love Red Letter Media. Gary's Economics, Potholer, Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is still around, unfortunately, but he's not on YouTube as much. What else we got here? I'm going to shout out everyone. Majority Report, I already said. Oh, no, I'm in T, guys. T is the. So there's like a bunch that I was like, oh, I'm almost done. The Onion is here. Oh, The Surfs. The Surfs. Go watch The Surfs. I like The Surfs. They make really funny, well-edited stuff. 3 Arrows. I already said that. Timba on Toast. What else we got here? Okay. No. Wick. Obviously, everyone better go subscribe to Wick. We're in W's now. Your Movie Sucks, I said before we got there. And yeah, okay, that's the whole list. So yeah, go watch all of those people's content, please. I think they make great stuff. They're huge inspirations, and hopefully I get to collab with some more of those people in the future, because that's awesome. But The Surfs is bad at debate, and sometimes he has takes I don't agree with. Sometimes more often than not. Same with Vadim. Like, yeah, like I don't always agree, but I think they make good videos, and they're still on the right side of what I would consider politics. So, yeah, go watch those guys. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I've already started working on the next video, so more to come. And there's a debate tomorrow. I'll put it in the schedule. But you guys make my day. You make my career. You make my heart flutter. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate you all to death. I am genuinely sad how much I'm blowing up and how I can't read every comment anymore. It's actually genuinely upsetting me, but it's like bittersweet because like I'm fulfilling my destiny. It feels good. So thank you guys. Silent Mark, I'm sorry. It's the end. We're logging off, but I really appreciate you coming. You can watch the VOD, and thank you so much for your support, guys. Wow, it's been almost 4 hours. Guys, the time flies by. I could literally do this all day as long as someone kept like coming in and injecting, you know, IV into my neck and I had like a poop bucket. Like I would do this all the time. I'm filling destiny. Oh no. All right. Good night, guys. Hopefully you tune in tomorrow for the debate. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will put it in the schedule so you can find it. If not, more videos to come. I might stream Friday. I might need a little break after that, but I'll stream more games. I'm really waiting for oh god, there's a game coming out. I won't spoil it, but there's a game coming out that I'm going to play. I think it would be great for stream. So good night, everyone. Have a great day. Type 1 to end the deep state.